Welcome back to another and probably the final episode of the Longhouse for this year, the show for the sensible centrist, or is it the NPR for the sensible centrist? I guess it's the new tagline. Still working on it. I'm not sure if it's sticking. I hope you enjoyed that intro for one last time, those of you who are watching, because I'll probably replace it when we start up again in the new year with something else. Bloody Path, welcome back.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back as usual. So yeah, say hello to everybody in the chat, and the people who are watching live. So I'm quite excited for this last episode. We have the Teknosjaman on, and we're gonna have some call-ins. Isn't that right?
We'll try to at some point, yes, at least publicize the link for the StreamYard. So if you're interested in coming on and chatting with us today, it's going to be shared in a while in the Matrix element chat. If you follow the link in the description down below, you will be taken to a sign-up page for that if you're interested in joining the chat room for the community. Other than that, obviously, our guest today is Teknosjaman, who also goes by the name of Culture Barbarian on Twitter, but he's mostly operates in Norwegian on Twitter. So for those of you who are from our international audience, we'll do our best today to sort of translate some of the stuff that we're talking about. But I thought it was very interesting to ask him to come on because a lot of the things he posts I find very interesting in terms of the, I suppose they call it there's a bit of a new sort of like resurgence of art happening in the right, especially on Twitter. And I would certainly say that Teknosjaman is a Norwegian participant in that. But I'll let him introduce himself. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I am the Teknosjaman, also known as Kulturbarbar, and many other nicknames throughout the years. I've been writing in these circles since like at least 2015.
Yes, and you've mostly written. You have a blog, right?
Yeah.
Where you write poetry and you write, I suppose, philosophical or artistic texts would be the best way to put it.
I've seen literary non-fiction. I saw someone call it.
Literary non-fiction.
Kind of like the thing Knausgård is doing.
I see. Yeah, I understand where you're going. Yeah.
And also
there seems to be. I don't want to necessarily dive straight into a lot of the analysis here, but I have sort of in my head, there is this similarity in the way you operate on Twitter and other prominent right-wing characters, like someone like Bronze Age Pervert, if you're aware of him. It's this straddling sort of the line between what is allowed and not allowed to say, what is real and what is, hyperbolic, what is the core of the message. It seems a bit hard to grasp, but intentionally so, because it's more about a feeling than a direct message. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's a mindset.
It's the I'm thinking it's the I'm trying to blur the lines between poetry and fact and fiction, and hyper reality or then philosophy and art, and try to intersect these all in shitty wordplays.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too. If you're Norwegian and you have a Twitter account, you can follow at Teknosjaman, and you'll get it all.
Yeah. I'm doing my best to make my tweets untranslatable.
Yes, very good. Now, we wanted to bring you on actually a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
But you had a bit of an issue with the local police. Is that correct? Would you like to tell us a bit more about that?
So yeah, I wrote this short story in the form of a manifesto, which is the title is Manifesto First Draft, and the plot is the I character, the protagonist.
It is the point of view character that is the person who
yeah.
has written the
Yeah.
manifesto that is published. Yes,
And he starts by, this is the first draft, and through the text he realizes that his arguments are too good, so he can't just keep writing. He just have to go and do this act of unlife.
of unlife. Yes, in
Yes.
Minecraft, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I think this is very interesting because anyone, I mean, I feel at that point I had been following your blog for a couple of months, and
and I had a very clear disclaimer saying this is fiction, this is a piece of art, and then 2 or 3 days later, I think 4 police cars, lots of guys in the anti-terror armor and the bomb helmets and everything, just came, stopped me. I was on my way home from work at like 11 at night. And I was walking in with socks in sandals, kind of drunk, just getting home to eat.
Yep.
And they just grabbed me and said I am anholdt.
Detained, I think is the word in English.
Detained.
Not arrested.
Yes, I was not arrested. I was not charged with any crime. I was detained, which means I do not have the right for an attorney. I did not have the right to remain silent. All these rights the so-called criminals are supposed to have. They just grab me and say, "You have no rights. You're coming with us.
We're bringing you in for a talk, and you can't say no."
Yeah.
Essentially,
no. Yeah. And but this entire shit show was the no actual police made any decision. It was all the jurists.
Okay, so the sort of the I'm trying to translate this for a moment. Luddic Path, do you have a proper translation for this? It would be sort of the office of the DA, I think the Americans would say. It is sort of the accusatory body.
District attorney, the attorneys, and the the lawyers that made that choice. I just wonder, when they came and picked you up, did you know immediately what it was about, or were you just kind of baffled and didn't understand what was going on?
I had a suspicion because suddenly my blog gets like at most 30-40 hits a day. And then suddenly, without anyone sharing anything on Twitter, I suddenly got like 80-90 hits in a couple of hours, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Who is sharing my shit? And then
was circling some internal forum, apparently.
yeah. And then I was on the bus going home, and I saw as the bus passed the turn, the cop cars just came, and so I think they were tracing my phone with base station shit.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
phone waves. Yeah. So they bring you in. Now, I wanted to say before that it was very clear to me, who had been, following your
Yeah.
publications for a bit, that this was, a bit of an experimental piece, but still an
Yeah.
art piece, not an actual,
Satire.
quote unquote manifesto.
Uh,
Like this guy is clearly making a statement, producing this work, and
Yeah.
you even went through a couple of steps by, I think you wrote it by hand and screenshotted it
Yeah.
to make sure that it
I
wouldn't,
wrote it. Yeah.
show up on
I
any.
wrote it. It was I wrote it on a trip in the woods, where I gave myself I want to create something, some horrible literature on this trip, and I can't come home unless I've like created something truly horrific. And I
Right,
think,
right.
I made that goal.
Managed to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
So the boys in blue, as someone called them in the
Yeah.
chat, they bring you in for a talk, and what happens next?
Two very nice policemen were sitting to talk with me, and they were just some random dudes at the office who was like, they were at work just then, and they had no idea about anything. They hadn't even read read the text in in question. And so they were very nice. I came along very well with them. We talked a bit politics. We agreed on most things. And then they just, we will try
Someone
to.
told us to bring you in. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just these lawyer people.
Now, to you Americans listening, the police picking up random citizens for a stern talking to might not be that shocking, but to someone like us living in Scandinavia, we generally think that this is not something that we do, which is why
Luckily,
we're spending a lot of time on this.
yeah, luckily I have a lawyer who is a very, very good man, and he promised me years ago he will give me what's the pro boner.
Yes, he'll work pro
Yeah.
bono for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So knowing I have him in my back pocket is like, just a relief, and I would probably have lost my sanity if not for him.
Well, you did seem to lose some of your personal belongings as well. And that was part of why you
shit,
couldn't show up last time.
Yeah, they took my. When I was having the talk, they took my key and just raided my apartment for all electronics. They took like most of my knives. They didn't find all my knives because I have so many knives and they're like everywhere. So I still have I have some of them, luckily. And
You're saying knives? Are you talking outdoors knives?
Yeah, outdoor knives, just normal pocket knives. I am an avid knife collector. I've collected for 10 years.
I see.
Yeah. So, and because in the text I wrote that the hypothetical act would be done with knives and axes. So they took my knives and axes, but they did not touch my sword.
Didn't touch your sword, but they
No,
took your wood axe and your knives. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, is the sword dull, or could it be potentially?
Yeah, no,
used,
it's one of those blankvåpenfäkting.
It's for practicing or for fencing.
Just a practice sword. Dull, but it's very good steel, and so if I hit someone in the head with it, they would probably it would hurt.
Certainly. So your experience here is that someone at some point in the jurisdiction got a hold of your manifesto and
Yeah.
pretty much ordered a
Yeah.
quote unquote raid here without the police really knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Interesting. And have
Very-
you heard anything since?
No, my lawyer said well, we should talk, but then I forgot to. I have had so much things happening. Oh yeah, about things happening. I have been working with one of my closest friends, Bjørn Christian. He's in the chat right
in the
now.
chat. Yep.
Yeah. We are having a art exhibition January 21st in Oslo.
In Oslo, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you're in the Oslo area, you can head out there, I suppose. Where can they find out more about this?
Fuck, hva var linken?
Well, I mean, if you're going to be publishing something on your Twitter profile.
Yeah,
or
it's we will post links.
okay. If you follow him on Twitter, he'll post links.
Yeah.
I think it would be well worth to check it out. I've followed Bjørn Christian Rodal for a while on Twitter as well, and he seems like a serious man.
Yes.
Reading through some of his blog posts, he seems like someone who is very nice to have as an ally.
Yeah. Oh yes. He is my brother in arms, so to speak.
So, did you get any notice on your police record for this, or is it just
No,
been memory hold?
No police record because they holy fuck, the wildest thing. The officers who I had to talk with, they said we will because the lawyers, the jurists are keeping your belongings to see if a crime has been committed. There is no case at this point, but a case may be opened if we find something breaking the law on your devices, which is
Are they
all
allowed
of this.
to do that?
No,
in
no.
that order?
No. Every part of this is fundamentally
suspect.
breaking my what's it called? The human rights. I've been reading up on international law. None of this shit will. I can take them to Hague. No, that's the wrong one.
I understand what you're saying. Yes, Bjarki asks what you would be suspected of. I'm just to recap here for those who are joining. The triggering act was the publication of an art piece that resembled a manifesto describing various acts that a fictitious person would like to do in Minecraft.
Yes,
but I think that's enough. I don't want to necessarily dwell on the police thing. I just think it's very telling that, in a sense, you're onto something with the art you're producing.
The way I look at this is the Norwegian police have øremerkede midler.
Logic Path, could you help me with that translation?
I can translate it directly, but I'm not sure what exactly
earmarked
would mean.
Funds.
Is that like funds that have to be used on the so-called right-wing extremists, and there are none in this country.
So you were a quota extremist, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's the budget goals, basically, they have to meet certain budget targets, and if they don't, then they're going to have their funding slashed, so they had to find something. And that's what you suspect.
Yeah, it's the way it seems to me.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to maybe talk to your lawyer and explain if there are some clauses in the Norwegian law that allows for sort of suspension of civil and human
But
rights
this
for
was
specific cases.
I think we do have one of those, in terror cases where a lot of the things, the rules get a bit sketchy, where you
Yeah.
can pretty much get away with everything.
Yeah, I think they used some extraordinary,
Some clause
yeah,
somewhere.
the terror clause, which
So
Because I
want
mean,
to
do you think they were at
sorry.
high alert because of the Kongsberg situation, like with the
no,
Bråten guy?
the Oslo thing happened like a week before the
right.
gay bar thing.
Oh yeah,
No, not
yeah.
the-
probably on high alert. Yeah.
No, it's not the gay bar episode, but the Kongsberg episode.
Oh,
with the
the
bow and arrow guy, right? Emil Bråten or something. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the Danish
Is that-
Norwegian man.
Yeah. No, that was like a year before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I suspect
that's
that they
long
were
ago.
looking for that or using that as a sort of template for like the next
Maybe.
possible attack.
There was a
Probably.
very different, looking at the videos the bow and arrow guy published versus the blog post that Teknosjaman published. It is a very clear delineation of, this is a piece of art. Versus, some guy rambling about the new Islamic caliphate that he wants to establish, or whatever it was. Nordan says, the feel when I'm a quota racist.
I should probably go do the path of Andrew Tate, become a Muslim.
A Muslim, yes.
Yeah.
So
I would
on that
probably have
note,
more rights.
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about the things you produce and sort of your, I suppose,
Can I just ask about the art exhibit first?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Because I'm just curious about what kind of art people can expect to see.
We have a Swedish artist named something I forgot. Kind of edgy. He's painted kind of edgy, but also non like walking this knife edge of being outside and inside, and we have some
windows,
and we have some. We are we cooperate with this French art collective, I think you could call it, or something. And we might. We are working on. I think there's been some miscommunication, but we are working on getting artworks from a Ukrainian soldier who died earlier this year in the war, who has painted some very cool, almost Italian futurism inspired, but also I don't know what to call it, but some very good paintings by this guy.
Interesting.
Artem, I think he's called.
All right. So it's going to be a mix of, I suppose, art on the edge, as you would say.
And we are working on some. The Norwegian artists ghosted me, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure about everything, but there will be some artists, at least, mostly figurative.
So one of my concerns with this is that if this is happening in like central Oslo, that you'd have people from Blitz showing up. That's sort of basically the Norwegian Antifa, right? So they're usually on the ball.
Yeah, we already have security, so that's no problem.
Good. All right, I wanted to dig a bit into the stuff behind your art and the things you post with a couple of questions. Now they might be a bit out of date, considering that I wrote them for the episode we wanted to do a couple of months ago. But when I wrote them, you had recently written a blog post that, roughly translated, was called "What is an Incel?"
Yeah,
and you declared the incel to be separate from sexual activity. Can you talk a bit about that?
I do not claim to having invented this concept, or I've seen many people talk about it. But the incel concept of incel in the culture, in the discourse, is more about as a marker of a certain type of person, more than having anything to do with intercourse.
Is this a type of character, or would you say it's politically alignment that determines what an incel is? I mean,
I
you like to
live.
dunk on women
Yeah.
for calling anything they don't like an incel.
Yes.
Maybe that it's that simple.
Yeah. Pretty much. But they can see women see people like me, kind of sweaty, unkempt, living in a basement, as incel-ish, and most people don't even know that they heard incel, but they don't know that it means involuntary celibate.
Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I've just been on the internet too long, but that seems very strange to me that it's
Oh, no.
possible to hear the word
Yeah.
incel without, realizing what it is.
Just people you hear. Imagine if you were a girl, normie, just hanging about the normie places on the internet, and you see the people you like call nerdy dudes incel, and you just
Yep.
assume, oh, that's a new type of insult for them, so I will use incel.
Yeah,
It made me think a lot
got it.
about the like the meme of the Chud Jack that you've probably seen, like of all of these like these male these male spree killers and stuff. Like the guy who says like the West is what does he say? It's over.
The West has
the West has fallen.
Yeah,
Billions must die. And he has that face, and they transpose that on like Muslims and people from different cultures. And to me, that's like kind of the similar archetype, even though. He might have limited success with women. He might not be a virgin, but there's something about the temperament and the style and the way of thinking about the world that I think people have the same feeling about it. I don't know. Do you recognize that?
Yeah. Our memes, the memes from this sphere of the internet, they always go outside the original context, get picked up by people, and then lose all context. Even the Pepper Frog is.
I mean, that's why it has to be banned, right? Because it's so cool that it just can't help to spread. Anyway, I think that's a good start. I want to follow up with another inspiration I got from one of your blogs with a bit of a philosophical question, I guess. Because a lot of people in what you would call traditionally the dissident online right, or whatever you would define yourself as being part of, it is often said that we can't I guess return to tradition. A lot of people say that they want to return to tradition, but a lot of people say that's not possible. In a lot of the things you write, there is a very clear urge to reconnect with nature. Am I correct in that?
Very, very correct.
Yes. Do you think that it is possible to repair this connection, or
Yes,
are you leaning more
through
towards the
no.
accelerationist option?
I think if you see the original meaning of accelerationism from the Nikola and all that, is accelerationism is not about accelerating the process. It's the looking at the process and acknowledging it is accelerating. And I think I am such a small fish player, and we are all such small fish players. We cannot really do much, but the system is bound to fail at some point. It's eternal growth in a closed loop system. It's just the physical impossibility. And so the collapse will come, and I pray to Odin it will come soon. But I think the returning to tradition is. I don't think we can return. I think we can walk forwards towards tradition through the. I've always believed the way out of hell is going through. And right now we are going through hell, and we will come out the other side, and things will pretty much just become as they used to be. Out of the chaos will just traditional values and the traditional way of life will be restored, unless unless of course everyone dies. But that is then so it is. So be it.
Right. Well, some seem to believe that a slow decline into pretty much nothingness is also a possibility. But I understand where you're coming from. It is hard to see how whatever is going on now, when you look at sort of the West, quote unquote, how a lot of this is sustainable.
Yeah, it's not.
So moving swiftly on, I suppose. And this is something I've frequently, I've a couple of times talked to Jay Burden, friend of the channel, in private conversations about the duality of artistic expression that comes from Norway.
Oh yeah.
His initial question on this was, what's the deal with black metal? You guys all seem so bright and cheery. And there seemed to be an artistic duality between sort of this bright and dark imagery in our culture. Why do you think that our culture produces this kind of extreme? Because there feels like there isn't anything in between, right?
No,
On a lot
yeah.
of authentic Norwegian art.
I have thought about this for years and discussed with it even before I was political. It's an observation. We have the Carl og Co. and Sesam Stasjon and all of this cherry, just outrageous. The revy, I think,
Yep.
is not really a thing anywhere outside Scandinavia.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. That's very interesting.
Not in the way it is here, at least.
So to explain for our international listeners what a review is it's kind of in the word. It's a review, but it's a review of either a period or a year, very often done by a
many
comedy
schools,
group, very often.
Oslo schools and many other. It's the videregående. Is that high
Yes.
school?
High school, yes.
Yeah, Norwegian high schools. They all have the final year. They put up a show with songs and dances and sketches.
And you can get that as well on, as an adult. You can get theater groups that put up these kinds of shows every half a year or every year, where they usually make fun of local happenings and do shows and sketches, as you said.
I saw my sister had the review on her school. They happened during the Lommemannen.
Oh yes, interesting.
Yeah, and so they had this sketch about that and done parody songs. This,
S-
but yeah,
So on
this.
one hand, you have these kind of cheery takes on serious
Yeah.
situations,
But we
but you
need
also have
these.
the
We need this almost superficially overdone humor to cope historically with long winters, harsh climates, living in the world's most beautiful country, seeing the fjords and the mountains and the rolling hills and eternal forests of the Eastland here. Just it's being dark half the year. It would turn us insane if we didn't have this humor.
it does. Yes, but at the
But
same time,
yeah,
it's the beautiful fjords, it's the
yeah,
the sundown from a mountaintop and all those
oh yeah,
images. But then you walk down the mountain into the dark forest, and that's where you encounter the black metal and the deep introspection and the winter months.
yeah,
Would that be correct?
oh yeah. But then and then we have the black metal, the and also Kittelsen,
Yep.
Munch,
Yep.
all of these. Odd Nerdrum. It's the darkness of the. It just this darkness just spills out of us. In between the jokes and the
Exactly.
jolliness. So I think it's just mostly coping mechanism. Just because it's because of the climate and the harsh winters and sometimes harsh summers. Yeah. Even I still have a couple of lefty friends I've discussed this with, and they agree mostly.
Right. It's interesting that it's so universal even across political lines, but I suppose that makes sense
Yeah,
when it's
it's more of an
it's
just a
it's in our
basic observation.
biospirit more than it's yeah.
Yeah.
Just to make an additional point on the review concept and the sketch shows that you talked about with your sister, Lommemannen, it's roughly translated, it's called the Pocket Man, right? And he was a serial sex offender who was active at the late 2000s, from 2008 to 2010.
Yeah.
His name is Eric Anderson. Basically, it's kind of in the name. He would try to make younger boys touch him downstairs.
He went with he had a fake cast as if his arms were broken, and then he had cut out the pocket linings, and then he had small boys he went, "Oh, can you get this thing out of my pocket? My arms are broken," and so they just it's
reach their hand inside the pocket
very, very weird.
So this is pedophiles pre-internet, right? Where they had to get creative.
I remember
Instead,
this
they couldn't just
huge.
groom people in chat rooms, but it was huge. The reason I thought it was interesting, just to clarify it to the international viewers, is that I don't think you could have that today. You hear that all the time. Well, this couldn't be made today. You could not have a review show today where you're making jokes about a sex offender. I think particularly after the Me Too in the 2016, 2017. And so on, this all of this stuff became very taboo with the sensitivity training and the trigger warnings and so on. So it would just not fly. You're not able to cope. The way people cope with it is that you can't talk about it. You can't make jokes about this stuff anymore. So I think that's why it was significant.
Yeah. He was active around I think 200 meters away from where I grew up. A couple of the cases happened.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For our next question, I think I'm going in dry, semi-dry, I guess. You wrote a blog post called Askeladd mindset.
Yes.
For our international viewers, we did a stream a couple of months ago on fairy tales where we talk about the character of the Ash Lad. And you have something called the Ash Lad mindset. Can
Yeah.
you explain a bit about what that is?
I don't really know what it is yet. I'm trying to figure it out. The Ashlad is he thinks quick. He thinks on his feet. He tricks people. He picks up stuff. He might, if he finds something cool on the ground, he picks it up. He tricks trolls and kings, and always wins. And I think this is part of the Norwegian folkesjel.
The soul of the people.
Yeah, soul of the people. Not all Norwegians are very Ashladdy, but there is quite a subset of the populace that you can see has the. It's almost
in their eye.
Yeah, it's the trickster archetype, but still something more. Something.
It's a strange kind of heroic trickster, which is kind of unusual, I think, in some of the legends around the world. Maybe I'm going to get dunked on by the comments now, giving me example after example.
Nord Anon said the troller of trolls. I like that one.
Yes. Let me see if I have anything else here before we.
I am working on Askeladd mindset del 2. Askeladdere.
So yeah, can I get in the question?
Yeah.
See, there's one thing that I've been noticing with your art is that there's seems to be a sort of lo-fi aesthetic about everything that you do. It's you do things in black and white. It's like the tweets are kind of short, and like your website is sort of on the like WordPress domain, and you don't have any styling there, so it looks like the sort of early 2000s style and so on. And you post the pictures, like most of them are in the woods. So it's how deliberate is this, or is this something that came organically to you?
It comes organically because I am extremely lazy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'll real quick share some of your recent artwork here, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, Peis på.
This is a Jester Pepe. I don't remember the original image here. It's
some Polish guy.
Yeah. And then we have this one, which is a Dali painting with Pepe's. The persistence of Keck. I think you posted something today as well, but I think that's just regular. I don't have this is just paint or drawings. Yes.
Yeah, just pen on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I think
So, going back a little bit to
self-portraits.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, and then I did Ted.
Yeah, I saw you did Ted as well, Uncle Ted, for those in the audience. Going back a little bit to the first thing we talked about with the difference between the real and the unreal. If someone were to ask you, like I am doing now, how much of your writing is authentic versus performative, how do you answer?
Fuck you.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if you were going to do that. That's fair. You know what? I just wanted to ask the question.
Yeah. That's fair
Very
enough.
Good.
Yeah, that's my best answer.
Very good. Letting pass, do you have anything, any more questions here for Teknosjaman while we have it in one-on-one?
No, I think we've covered a lot of interesting things. So maybe we could start taking in some callers.
Yeah, I think I'll post the link to the stream here in the Longhouse channel on Matrix. We'll bring on Leo Borealis. I see already is hanging out in the lobby, and we'll talk a bit about Christmas and just have a chat. You're welcome to hang out, Teknosjaman, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm hanging out. I just need to put more wood on the fire, so I'll be right back.
Okay, Leo Borealis, are you here? Hello, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you doing this? Is it the it's the mid what's it called? The midwinter today?
Yeah, winter or the midsummer solstice is today.
Yes. The Yule tide is setting in for full.
Every
I am celebrating with a cup of I suppose Glühwein would be the closest thing for in English.
mulled wine, I think, is the
Mulled
English.
wine. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Very cool. Burkarl as well. How are you? And anyone want to talk about what they're going to be doing in Christmas? I'm thinking.
Well, Christmas is the season to be jolly, and I'll just mostly be being very, very cozy, and take walks out in the sunshine when it's cold out, since you don't get a lot of that. We don't get a lot of free days when you can just go for long walks in truly snow-covered forests and everything.
Yes, unfortunately, there's been a bit of a heating up going on where I live,
Yeah.
so there was quite a bit of snow for a while, and now we're unfortunately left with just a bunch of ice on the
All
ground.
Norway. How warm is it at your guys' place? It's like 1.5 plus here
Yeah, it's around the
outside
same.
Oslo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm planning on spending Christmas with family, obviously. Probably my side of the family mostly this year. We tend to alternate, me and my wife, between spending most of the time at her family's and most of the time at my family's place during winter. Or during Christmas, I should say. But I don't have any concrete plans other than, just hanging out with family. Which I think is nice. I don't like over-planning Christmas, really.
The only plan should be eating as much ham as possible.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of pig consumption going on in a couple of days.
What are you guys gonna eat for Christmas? I am going to have a pinnekjøtt.
Yeah, I'll probably have that as well. I don't know what does the Swedes and the Finns do for Christmas? Are there any traditional recipes or like types of food?
Yeah, I mean, we have our traditional Christmas table that isn't really all that traditional. It's like 250, 300 years old only. I mean, sure, the ham has been around, and the boiled ribs and stuff like that. That has been around for a couple of millennia, but the other stuff is new. But what we are having is mostly like you have meatballs, small sausages, boiled red kale, lutefisk, of course.
Lutefisk in Sweden?
Yeah, but then again, I'm from Värmland, so so it's traditional to eat lutefisk there for Christmas.
Stealing our culture, typical Swedes.
Well, it's the borderlands. I mean, we stopped being involved in your royal lineage succession disputes in the 1400s. So no one invited us; we invited ourselves.
Yeah, also typical Swedes.
I want to do a sort of, while we just hang out here anyway, I want to do a bit of a since this is the last episode of the year, I wanted to do a little bit of a retrospective on the Longhouse episodes that we have done, just as a fun thing to keep us occupied while we wait here. Oh, I see. Fjolnir, the Groiper from last. Oh, can I? I'm not allowed to add more people to the call. That's what's happening here. We'll bring you on shortly, Fjolnir, maybe, if there's room. He certainly had a lot to say last week when we had had Frody on.
Frody's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is. Let's see here. The first video, or the first Longhouse that we ever did. Let me share the screen here. I'm not sure if did I call it Longhouse? I did call it Longhouse. I'll just bring up my screen here. There we go. It was so I did one stream on some of the articles and writings of Knut Hamsun and a bit of his life. And then I did a stream called The Failures of Conservatives and Libertarians, which was a bit of a look back on the year that was as well, in terms of like what did a lot of people learn, I suppose. And then some random guy called Ledig Path approached me about doing a live stream thing, and we figured that let's do an overview of the state of Norwegian politics as our first episode. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, that seems correct. I think I found your video through the Prudentialist, perhaps, or it was something like that. It was in one of these Telegram groups. No, actually, I think it was. I actually found it through Academic Agent. It was the
really?
cleaning your room doesn't make you a king video.
Yeah, that was obviously the one that kickstarted my channel to
Walrus,
begin with. So,
did you know I was the leader of the Alliansens Ungdomsparti for the 2017 election?
I did not know that.
That
and I'm
was
sure you would get a kick out of watching everything that, especially Ledig Path, has said about the Alliance. So,
Man, it was a shit show. It was even worse from the inside.
I would imagine.
We'll have to bring you back for sort of an inside look at that. Actually, I mean, for next year, I have a guy who's like studied the Norway Democrats for a very long time and can give us a sort of chronology on that. But if you have some inside look into the
I've partied
Alliance
with those guys.
What did you parted ways with them?
No, I partied with Democrats.
Oh,
I see. Yeah. I mean, the same that are now, or like one of the previous incarnations, because I know there's been lots of rotations in that party.
Yeah, I think a couple of rotations ago. And holy shit, the Sian people, they are goddamn. When they are drunk, they are they say things.
The Sion people are a activist group who explicitly targets or wants to remove Islamic forces from
Kebab.
Norway. They want to remove the kebab, yes.
But
Now,
the
I have a
interesting
couple of
part
people-
about them,
Oh, sorry, go on.
the interesting part about them is they want to save the hippie boomer values. So that's why we have to remove the kebab.
Yes, we have to go back to the 90s or the 80s. That's the perfect.
Yes.
Oh, we are back to the Fresh Prince party.
Back to the Fresh Prince party. They're not a party, they're a political movement. They're an activist group. And they're
Yes.
all like at least 65 and above, mostly.
Oh God.
So
If you want a
Teknosjaman-
closer look at it, I mean, we have, I think, in episode 7 where we do a talk about metapolitics, and I do talk about maybe not
We talk
Sion,
about
but rights.no and Hege Storhaug.
She's lesbian.
Yes, I know,
This
and I
is
talk
hilarious.
about the exact same thing. Is that like there's nothing right wing about her or anybody in Sion at all. They just
No.
they don't like Islam. That's kind of that's the only thing they have, and that makes them apparently outside
Nazis.
of the
Everyone
Overton
says they're
window, right?
fascists.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of where with the Overton window in Norway, like people like us, they don't even understand where we're supposed to be placed because the right wing, quote unquote, is basically like you're a liberal but you hate Muslims.
Yeah.
That's what it means to be right wing.
Did you see the Reset?
Yeah, rest in peace, by the way. We have spent
No.
a year covering Reset.
No.
And
But now, Luros bought it back.
Oh, it's coming back to life. So
Yeah.
a couple of days ago, Reset was declared bankrupt. Is that correct? Like you sent me something about this.
Well, yeah, he bought the domain name, but now the domain directs back to iNews, iNyheter. That is his new website, right? So
Yeah.
I think he just bought
okay.
the domain name apparently. So
it's going to basically carry on in his next venture. Great.
yes. I wonder how
Oh,
much
we're
he
gonna
bought it
have to
for, maybe
find,
like 1 kroner or something.
We're gonna have to find other content for next year. Then Ludwig Path. I'm sorry.
Well, I think a good piece of content would be comparing which of these Nordic parties that are supposedly right wing, which of them has the most Thai wives in them.
Oh, I love that.
I think we must secure the existence of our Thai wives and the future for Hapa children.
Exactly.
Very good.
We should have some like E-right index on a certain party, right? I mean, if there's not a sufficient amount of like half-breed people or mixed couples in the party, there's something wrong, right? It's a federal operation. If everybody's like white with happily married, then it's definitely like a federal sting.
I love it. We have a couple of people waiting in the lobby. And apparently there's a limit to how many people can be in here. Does anyone, Teknosjaman, do you want a break or do you want to... Oh, Urkal just jumped out. I see Fjolnir here in the lobby, but he doesn't have a mic. So I guess that doesn't... I'm not allowed to add him. So until that works, I'll welcome Obadiah Vandal to the stream. Can you hear us?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Oh, well, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to drop in and say that. But yeah, you guys' stream's awesome.
Good. Are you American or you just have a good accent?
No, I am indeed an American. Yes, up here in the northeastern section of the country. So actually, it's the one area that not too far from me is the only fjord in America. Even though I don't think.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think you guys really approve, though.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Is there anything you'd like to comment on or ask of us now that you're here? Or would you just like to hang out for a bit as we look through the retrospective of the show so far?
Yeah, sure. Just Ludwig Path. Thank you for turning me on to Star Sector. It's a pretty dope game.
Yeah, no problem, man. I wish I played it more myself, honestly. I'm just more into the aesthetic of it, but I don't get that much time to play games. But
Fair enough. Ludwig Path's really the only good thing about the game. It's kind of shitlitty, really.
You mean the faction Ludwig Path, right? Not
the faction Ludwig Path. Yeah, that's about the. No, the game itself. It's got like everything else, it's got pause in it and whatnot. But if you're good enough, you can edit that stuff out.
Right.
But yeah, I'll let someone else. You said your buddy Fjolnir wants to come.
Yeah, there's no one here right
now.
So
just a question, Obadiah, because I mean, it's actually been difficult for us to find like a big enough audience in Scandinavia, but we just have more and more Americans kind of popping in, watching the show. How big do you think the potential American audience for this stuff is?
Well, I mean, it seems like you could probably get in with like the pagan bros around. A lot of those guys are super into like learning more about Scandinavia and like
Yeah, but that's a
interacting
very
with it.
hit or miss movement, though. I mean,
Fair
looking
enough.
into
Yeah.
it, it's pretty much just Satanism,
Yeah,
disguised as.
What about
What
also
about
through AFA, also through Folk
Yeah,
Assembly?
that's the one that Brody recommended last
Yeah.
week. If anyone is interested in looking more into it, that's probably the route to take.
there's also Dave Martell as well. Have you guys
Yeah.
chatted with him at all?
No, I haven't. But that would be someone that would be interesting to have on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
David's based on Conan Pilled.
Yeah, Dave's good shit.
Yeah, I know that Nordhuger, who features in the chat a lot here, he's also in the Matrix channel, and one of his favorite pastimes is to post cringe pagan TikToks in the meme channel.
The man likes to
from the
torture
US.
me.
Yeah, it really hurts. It really does.
It's such fucking cringe.
Oh God, it's all about how Odin wouldn't be a racist, and yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's where I
Some
took the
fat Reddit
took
guy
the
with a
inspiration
beard.
from.
It's yeah.
What
Yeah,
about the Santa Claus is Odin thing?
I haven't heard of that. What is that?
They say because Odin has because Santa has 8 reindeers and Odin's horse has 8 legs. They're the same.
Oh,
And they're trying to do this thing where they both, have a beard, a hat, and comes around during winter. But it's like, no, stop being so American.
No, I decided to believe this.
Embrace esoteric Santism.
Yeah.
esoteric.
Hail
Santism, yes.
Santa.
Hail Santa.
But then Santa doesn't want milk and cookies anymore.
No, he doesn't. Probably wants a deer carcass or something like that, right?
On that note, though, you can also find some like super cringe like Lutheran churches. Like I'm sympathetic to the pagans, I guess I could say, because this is progressive liberalism, comes for all of us. Yeah.
It's out there, and I don't want to stoke the flames between the Christian bros and the pagans, but I don't think the Lutherans are the answers. Have the answers. It would have been some kind of other organized religion that I don't know. They don't seem to be able to deliver, in my experience.
Yeah, man.
The question is who is able to. It seems like everybody's being subverted to these days, right?
I'm not saying that the pagans are either. It's a shit show, right? So, I think that's why we're here, right? We're all just sort of grasping at straws, trying to figure out, is there anything here that's...
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're religious Christianity, if it's some sort of Germanic paganism, or if you believe in like Shintoism or whatever. I mean, the gay will try to hollow out your religion and wear it like a skin suit and dance it down the street in a gay parade. It's what it does. And now it's coming for the Muslims as well, and it's well on its way. Yeah, I mean, remember where we all like years ago said that the Muslims they're gonna fight this, and man, they are losing. They are losing big time.
Sargon called that one that the GAE would defeat the Muslims or the LGBT.
We'll wear them as a skin suit as well.
Yeah, oh Jesus, yeah. Fjolnir, Icelandic super chatter, welcome to the stream. Maybe he has some microphone issues. Hopefully he can hear us. But,
still no mic.
I don't think we can hear him.
Hello.
Oh,
hello.
Is that you, Fjolnir?
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Good.
You're a little bit low. Can you turn yourself up?
Yes, one moment.
Again, if you're interested in hanging out, the link to the StreamYards is in the Matrix Element channel that you can find in the description down below. Did you have anything you wanted to call in about, Fjolnir, or do you just want to hang out as we look back at the year that was on the Longhouse?
Can you hear me better now? Or
we can hear you fine. Yes. There's a bit of rattling.
yeah, I have a like a switch mic, like a.
Okay. Yep. No, it's better now.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on a masterful tweet that Teknosjaman retweeted from Wark, that's saying that the unbroken native European Nordic man is autistic by default. So
That is very true. I personally like the there's this map of Europe where it's either autism or the autism level rises as you get further and further north on the map, all the way from Italy to Iceland.
I love how he has Nansen in that post.
Yeah, it's definitely high in Iceland now.
Yeah.
Well,
I was wondering, Obadiah.
Yes.
Do you have any of those? The only thing Norwegians know about American religion is those the black gospel churches and the giant super church megaplex things.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those huge churches around you?
So I've lived all over the United States. I've definitely lived around them. Where I live now is definitely very, very tucked away from all of that. But there is a fairly large Amish community and Mennonites quite close by to me. And, you know, hopefully I'll be able to snag me a rebellious one and make her my wife.
I wish you all the luck.
But no, it's awesome. Like they have their own, companies and bakeries and all sorts. They have a pretty decent pizza place, and I like the Amish folk. They're nice to deal with.
Amish. Did you know the Norwegians invented pizza?
Oh yeah?
Yeah, this is something that I got from you as well.
What?
Yeah, I think I saw you tweeting about this, Teknosjaman.
I've tweeted about this for years. It's and I finally was redeemed when I saw someone post, because even Snorre Sturlason has written about, because it's a flatbread with cheese and seagull eggs. Was a classic Viking dish. And this is the fucking Grandiosa.
I'd eat it.
That's a prime Christmas reference as well.
Yeah.
Excuse me, jeg har tatt en slutt.
Meds BTFO'd yet again.
Yeah, we were the first ones to put things on bread.
Yeah. Obviously.
Actually, that doesn't sound. Sounds like it'd probably be pretty good with some herring fillets on it. Really.
Probably. Now you're thinking with I don't know what you're thinking with, but
The stomach.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me bring back our episode history here. I actually enjoyed going back through here. Please just interrupt me if you have any topics or anything you want to talk about. Otherwise, I want to go through memory lane here for a bit.
Well, I especially enjoyed regarding food and pizza. Since it's replaced with the tomato is replaced with eggs, that would make it very much less flavorful. And I would like to inform the meds that flavor is a conspiracy of the swarthy. And its only purpose is to disguise rottenness in the food.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is
careful.
Flavor is degenerate.
Careful now, Burkhardt. You get the Pajits on your back like Leo did.
Oh man! I got fucking hate mail for a month for that one.
A month. Wow.
Yeah, it was like 4 weeks, just constant reshare, because you see, and they were resharing it, and the outrage cycle was just, I mean, the Pajits, the fucking Chinese, I mean, everyone was getting in on that one.
Yeah, for you having the audacity to claim that spice might actually disguise bad food.
Yeah, and the fun thing is that was one guy from like Delhi who went in like, yeah, actually he has a point. I mean, and then he gave a link to some Indian government website. I think it's their like health service or something, like the amount.
Yeah.
List the amount of Indian people that die from food poisoning by eating bad street food. It was like huge. It was like tens of thousands of people every year. So, yeah.
I remember an old Bronze Age pervert take about Indians, the religious vegetarianism of the Indians. The only protein they get are the flies flying into when they cook in those huge pots.
Right.
And that's how they get meat, and they're not really
The insects
vegetarians.
that die in the communal pot.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, they fly over and they die from the haze of sneed oils rising from it.
That's also been a journey for me personally this year. It was actually around January that I discovered the whole sneed oil thing. And I did like a month of like trying it out, and mostly just because I had for a long time had a bit of an issue with heartburn, depending on my diet, right? And I tried to control it, but at some points it's like it's impossible. Pretty much everything, even if I try to eat just normal quote unquote food, I still get heartburn. And then 1 month off of the sneed oils, and I'm sitting in my living room and I'm thinking back like, wow, I haven't had heartburn for like a month, and I'm sort of like casually avoiding the sneed oils, right? Not even going autistically in on it, and that was a bit of a wake-up call for me on that stuff. So I'm trying. It's hard. It's in fucking everything.
Literally everything.
Even the things like I had a big meltdown about it being in my trail mix.
Yeah.
I've been eating for like months, thinking I'm being a good boy, avoiding the sneed oils, and then you said like the fucking raisins are tumbled in like sunflower oil. Oh God. But it's to the point where I'm like, if I'm not careful these days, like if I go like half a week without making sure that I don't eat it, then I know that I'm getting it in my body, and I'll instantly have like an upset stomach or heartburn
Sweats.
again. Yeah. So for me, it's not like I'm not going like super hard. This is going to solve all my problems. It's very like grug-brained. This made like removing the seed oil removed the heartburn, so I'm just going to keep at it.
I've been quitting a lot of shit this past year. Smoking, hard liquor, seed oils. Again, yeah. What's next?
Hard for me to quit the beers. Unfortunately.
Smoking. Oh God, have anybody ever had to do that? Quit smoking?
No.
Yeah, sure.
Awful experience.
I tried to quit the snooze.
But then again, I
refuse to quit the snooze. Snooze is too good.
yeah, well, I smoked a lot when I was in the army, but then I kind of quit when I stopped that. When I stepped it down then to like a pack a week when I went into construction, and then a couple of years later I was like, not really one. not really. So I don't know. But then again, I've never really had a problem with stuff like that. So
What'd you do in the army, Leo?
I was a ranger.
Very cool.
Military police ranger.
Very cool, man. I was a line medic.
Ah, nice. We had we all had medic training because they decided that they started our medic training with going like, so you're all getting the like 3-week medic course that the army corpsman gets because well, where you guys are going, there ain't gonna be any fucking medics. So
Yeah, same. I've actually gone through the same kind of medic training, but that was mainly because the higher ups decided that the drivers of APCs should know this medic thing because they can just, grab the wounded person and throw them in the vehicle and speed off. So all the drivers got the medic training as well.
Yeah, did you get to save a pig?
For us, it was goats. We saved the goats.
Ah, I see. No, that we got a pig.
Yeah, yeah. They what was it? Did they make you sign a piece of paper like I'm not going to tell people about this?
No.
People will freak out. Like, oh, they made us like sign papers and stuff saying like you can't tell anybody about this.
Actually, just like harming a pig or a goat and then stitching it up to while it's still living.
Oh yeah, the bolt cutters and
Holy shit!
Oh yeah, like well that's now it's bleeding out. What do you do?
Yeah, and ours we were on the shooting range, so they just shot them took out a service revolver and just blew a hole in it and just what it's dying, do something.
Fun times.
Well, they weren't tranquilized, so they weren't they weren't conscious. But no, they didn't make us sign anything. Then again, we are out in the imperial periphery. You are in the hardcore of the empire.
The heart of the game.
The managerialism doesn't hit us hard here.
No.
Yeah.
Did you eat it afterwards?
Did you eat it?
No, I think I don't think. No, they. What did they do? Oh no, they sent it off to slaughterhouse after we fixed it up. So someone ate it.
Oh, that's good.
Huh.
Ours cool. I believe ours got cremated. So nobody gets anything.
And that's why you keep my
circumcised too, I suppose. All right.
Oy vey.
Yeah. Episode 2 was technology and Luddism. Now it's 12 months ago, but it feels, quite recent actually. Which was kind of your idea, Luddic Path, and then we actually brought on Jay Green River, who isn't here right now, to have a bit of a chat about technology, which was quite interesting. Although I think our inexperience in doing these kinds of things shows, having looked back on it.
Well, I think it was very primordial and experimental at this point, right? And
first, 10 episodes are very much us just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. Not that we're it is a bit of a variety show still, of course, but we had no idea what we were doing, right?
Well, yeah, it's not completely unprofessional. I mean, some of it's still quite listenable. So, I remember that the working title was actually the Scandinavian Roundtable, wasn't it?
Exactly,
but,
yeah.
But then we changed it to the Longhouse, and then we almost regretted that later because of the BAP inference.
Yeah, because anyone who's coming in from the outside might come in with the BAP definition of it, right?
I definitely came with the BAP definition.
But it still kind of works.
Yeah, I think it works.
I mean, at this point, it's too late to swap it. Oh, and Vingle made an appearance here for the first time as well. Vingle should be familiar to anyone in this sphere because he manages to be everywhere all at once, it seems.
He's not in the chat now, actually. So
actually, he's not in the chat right now.
We found his limits, right?
Yeah,
We're on
our show
territory.
is his limit. Yeah.
But
By the way,
yeah, it's interesting because we've had certain fans that have just stuck around since the beginning. Nordanon has been, I think he's been in the chat in every Longhouse. So
well,
yeah,
I think
we should send him a Christmas card.
He had to send me a message ahead of time telling me that he won't be able to be here and wield the banhammer for one specific stream, and I was like, "Wow, dude, you show up here every week. It's no problem. I don't actually expect you to show up."
Was this the one with the stream with a cow in the VI headset?
Not a cow. I think it's a what's
it's the Wojak, right?
Wojak is the name of
No,
the
no,
character.
you covered the news about the cow in the
Oh
VI,
yes,
Peak
yeah, that's
dystopia.
true. Yeah, about putting cows in virtual reality headsets so that they get to experience, an open field or something before they get slaughtered. Very dystopian.
Saw like a picture of it also.
No, it was to so they would produce more milk. It was for milk cows that are strapped in like tiny little boxes.
Right, that's it. Yeah.
So like, where do you guys stand on technology? Like, if I may ask.
I pray daily to the gods for a Carrington event.
Okay, I'm just like, maybe running water and electricity to heat your homes. That's it. Nothing else. And antibiotics, maybe.
Running water is a stream. Heating your house is firewood.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we think about this tactically, the rest of the world has a very, very bad clean water resources. So if this specific technology were removed from the world, the Nordic countries would be at a huge advantage.
To shit by the Americans by the end of the day.
Well, sure. Okay.
That's why we need the Carrington event. And then they can't launch their fucking bombs, and then they all die from cholera.
I'm actually not sure a Carrington event will do the things that we hope, but we have precautions.
Well, I mean, it's easy to say, but I'd like to think that the destruction of most of the West isn't involved in whatever's going to happen. But
in Minecraft,
I think I'm a bit more milquetoast than you, Fjolnir. I think there's something aesthetic about telegram and phone lines that I would accept.
I'll say what you said one time, Walrus. I think I can have both ideas in my head at the same time.
Right.
I look at it also kind of like the gun question. Like, I can totally see the point that the introductions of firearms to the mass populace was definitely a detriment. That the strong are now like on equal footing with people that are significantly weaker than them, and that's had probably bad effects down the line. But at the same time, I'm not going to give up my guns. And I kind of feel like that with a lot of technology, with some technologies. Like, I mean, I definitely know that the internet isn't good and that it's a lot of problems, but I mean, I just don't have it in me to go all completely Amish, I guess I could say.
Exactly. We should be able to have these streams, and most people shouldn't.
Exactly. Based
and
that's exactly what
killed.
I like. Like in the 19th century, like science was only this elite thing. It was like nerds like Isaac Newton and the handful of these guys that were basically progressing everything, and then the plebeians, they were just didn't know anything basically. And I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, well, this is actually in the natural state of man in a sense for a very long time. I mean, past antiquity, because if we will take for an example, like the Greek schools, like the School of Athens and stuff like that. These weren't like state mandated universities. It was something that you did by your own volition in your own spare time if you were interested and had the temperament. And well, having the time is also meaning that also implies that you must have the surplus of resources to mean that you don't have to work all the time. So that means that you are in some sense either, well, some kind of professional then you put some of your meager resource into this thing because you have a temperament, you're good at it, and you enjoy it. Or you are an aristocrat and can lounge around all day listening to Plato espouse on, well, how people are hairless chickens and stuff like that.
I think the most important technology we have is Albanians dispatching pizzas at 3 a.m. As long as we have that, I don't care about the other things.
Yeah, but my point is the average person, like these science educators, like the Bill Nye and these guys, I despise these guys because how they are, how annoying they are, but the average person doesn't need to know this stuff. Like, why the hell do you need to know like how small you are compared to this or that?
But they don't even know. They get they explain like some abstract concept and they don't have the IQ to understand it. So they just
that's my point exactly. Like the 100 IQ will just develop some existential crisis if he knows this stuff. So why bother?
And then they have to go on antidepressants. For the rest of their lives. Yeah.
And then you have these midwits go into science and ruin the science itself, which has happened. So,
but I mean, I think science is still very much gate kept, right? There's still like a relatively very, very small amount of people that are doing actual science, right? Like even the like gay gender stuff, it's still very gate kept.
I mean,
like for the wrong reasons, right?
As an engineer, like no, it's like pretty dumb people, in engineering as well. So I'm not sure. I mean, you can get a double doctorate with 120 IQ. I don't know.
One of the dumbest people I've ever known became a nanotechnology science dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm supposed to listen to these experts.
That's the problem, right? It's you don't have to be intelligent in the science way to do well in school, which is the marker that puts you in the science field, right? So you can be stupid and still do well in school if you're good at following the instructions, right? So
I would actually argue that schools drive away the most intelligent people.
Certainly drove me away. I was just there to get the minimum paper I could to get a job, and then fuck off. So
I would agree on that as well. I think in the past, it wasn't gate kept in the same way, so the barrier to entry was very low. But then you could get in a lot of these creative people who maybe are like they're not formally educated, but they have a passionate interest about botany or biology or something like that, and they would just do stuff in their garage or in their house and so on. And like this is completely missing now from science. Like everything has to go through the same system and be streamlined. And I think it culls a lot of creative thoughts and stifles a lot of things.
Yeah, the problem is that why you don't get like people like like Brown, Oppenheimer, or that generation. They're essentially the last generation of scientists, engineers that are multidisciplinary. Essentially, they have depth and breadth. The current crop, or essentially what has been produced since the mid 60s, is something that has extreme depth but no width. It's like it's like a slice of paper. It goes all the way down, but it knows nothing what goes on in the office, the next room. That means that if they found something, they can't infer where this can be be explored within another realm.
There's no even great men anymore of science in that sense.
No,
there's no guys who are like multidisciplinary.
Well, I think actually there are like people with the aptitude out there.
Certainly yes, but they're not allowed to explore.
People doesn't change, but the thing is that, I mean, take such a simple thing as basic education. I mean, when my parents were in school, and I guess or was your parents, because we're of a similar age, they had like A, B, and C classes. The A class were the kids in that crop of the per year of every class that excelled in school. They were intelligent, so they needed less help with the basics, and they needed to be nurtured. So they put those guys in the A class. The B class was, the average, the midwits. They do all right, but they don't devour books and informations like the kids in the A class can. And then you have the C class. You have the natural born ditch diggers who for any higher form of higher education is always going to be pain and misery, and they don't want to be there. So you essentially just you get them through the basics and let them go out and play ball, so they can be happy. Don't do that anymore. Now everyone has to essentially, and because the myth of modern education also is there are no differences, or there can't be any differences. It's not allowed. That means that everyone has to be dragged down to the lowest common denominator. That means that you're always going to chain the quicker kids to the slower kids, and that is not going to work. So you have to essentially then step things up. So the slow kids can't keep up. The fast kids just check out because they are bored out of their fucking minds.
You described the Finnish education system perfectly, and it's been that way since the 50s, basically.
I think that's all of our education systems.
Yeah, now, but Finland has been that way since the 50s because
So it's your fault. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying it's fucking communism.
Right, okay.
There's also no point in being in a quote-unquote advanced class because the only reward you get is just more homework.
More busy work, yeah.
Yeah, so you just willfully slack off, basically.
I'm actually an oddity. I never went to college. I dropped out of high school and joined the army.
Yeah, good for you. That's the best choice ever.
That decision saved you a lot of money since you're American.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, here they just take half of everything you earn anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Something I actually spoke a bit about in the third episode here on screen, which is called On Freedom, which is one of my personal, I wouldn't say favorites, but it's on my top 10 list, I guess. Mostly because it's me doing a bit of a deep dive into how the Norwegian model, or I suppose the Scandinavian quote-unquote model for doing things like education for the masses, etc., strangely enough hinders the freedom of people by emphasizing the wrong kind of freedom. By emphasizing freedom that pulls you away from your home, your family, your identity.
The libertine.
Yes. So I really enjoy this, even though it's a bit of a smaller, it's a smaller, it's a more focused, I guess, just me ranting off like a PowerPoint to the stream. I really enjoy that one, actually.
Just to finish the last point, I think, the true Scandinavian way in regards to education is just an apprenticeship, basically. You learn everything from your home. The educational institution is like a modernist recent invention, like especially here.
I mean, I haven't worked a job in my admittedly short life that couldn't have been just an apprenticeship.
Yeah. You basically learned everything from your dad, and then you took over the farm. That's basically the Nordic way.
Right.
In the cities, your father was a baker, so you are a baker.
Yeah, that's how it should be. Like
based.
No universities, no schools.
Oh, speaking of the devil, Vingle is in the chat. I don't know if you have the Longhouse element, Vingle, but I can send you the link if you want to hop on here on the StreamYard. I'll send it to you on Telegram. All right, I'll move on here to Longhouse number 4, the Nordic Media, which I think is the first appearance of both Leo and Burkharl. Is that correct? Yeah, I think so. Both of you debuted on
Yeah, I think.
episode 4, the Nordic Media, and you have certainly become mainstays of the show.
Yeah, I remember that that headline. Now everything becomes really hard.
I just really love that photo, and there's from that image, it's cut off here in the thumbnail, but under it, it's like a follow-up article with like an expert saying, "Oh my God, I'm so tired," or something like that.
Yeah, like it's gonna be exhausting, and there are a couple of nice ones like that. I mean, where they can really cut to the meat of things.
Yeah.
Who was the painter who did the on Freedom? I think from the chat, Vingul's favorite contemporary Norwegian painter.
Yeah, his name is Frank Brunner, I think.
Frank Bruner?
I think so. Hang on.
Never heard of.
I have to ask you guys
very
something. You Norwegians, like how is Odd Nerdrum viewed by the Norwegian mainstream?
Oh, he is not.
He's one of my favorite
Duality?
painters, by the way.
The Norwegian public like him. The Norwegian establishment hate him. But the most interesting part is his children, and especially his son Øde Nerdrum. They have it's like a internal cult almost with the kitsch painters. I know Gio Panacetti is a big fan, but no, the establishment, art establishment, are not fans.
Yeah,
So I
he's
wanted to
pretty
do an
much,
episode on the Nerdrums actually for a while, and this just keeps getting put on the back burner because I don't find any material or time to sit and do it. But like very early on, I think like the Nerdrum family are like one of the like actual reactionary forces in Norway, and they live on this island basically where it's like it's the 1800s again. Basically, that's sort of how they live and how they paint and.
There is a chance you could get the Nerdrums on the podcast.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, if you just try hard enough.
If you just try hard enough.
Get Öde on the podcast. No, I mean, like his son is like unironically based in the way that we are based. The reason that works, that they're not kind of stamped all over the face with this kind of Nazi stamp, is because they do put too much into this kind of quirky persona. They show up in the talk shows and they'll say stuff like, "I think women should be in the kitchen," or I think low class people shouldn't have education. They'll say like these really reactionary things, and it just comes out as like this laughing thing on these talk shows.
Look at this kooky artist man. Yeah.
Look at this kooky artist man who dresses like in a robe and has long hair and all that stuff, and so it's just kind of a joke when they show up on reality shows and have these sentiments. But like these are. I mean, they live by a certain code where like irony is not allowed. So in their minds, they're completely unironic when they say that stuff. There's like an interview with Öde Nerdrum, that's Odd Nerdrum's son, where he's asked about rap music, right? And the interviewer asks him, "Well, so you don't like rap music?" And he says, "Well, no, I think it's damaging to the soul and to the spirit of the Norwegian man and so on, to denigrate himself into listening to that music." And then he said, "Well, you think it's okay to other people listening to it? You don't have anything against that." "Well, yeah, I do actually. I don't think anybody should listen to."
We'll never get it. We'll never get on unpopular opinions again if you talk like this.
We love the state of Israel.
We love the state of Israel and rap, especially from the 80s.
Yes, but no, I'm just quoting what he said, right?
We agree with everything the Norwegian government has to say.
But in the media, it's pushed as kind of like a punchline. It's like, "Oh, look how quirky this is," not as true reactionaries.
I see him like as the only, and the Nerdrum family like as the only one of the few viable countercultural forces in Norway. Like The way I
Yeah, and
view
me.
things
I'd
from
agree.
here.
I'd agree.
Yeah. So maybe you need to make something from him, basically, from that spirit.
I've been trying to get in contact. I tried to make Öde Nerdrum read Bronze Age Pervert, and I sent a message to him, and he said, "Oh, I googled him and I kind of understand what it's about." And then I said, "I can give you the book," but he never answered.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
Hit and a miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting back to the jobs topic that I missed because I was out in the kitchen doing a thing.
Hang on.
Yeah,
a minute.
one more thing I forgot to
I'm
mention.
gonna-
There was this
I'm gonna
move.
go get something to drink, so you guys
sorry.
behave while I'm gone.
Yeah, I forgot to mention there was this movie, Icelandic movie, which was set in the 1600s, and Nerdrum was like the chief artist in that movie.
What's it called?
It's called the Lord of Darkness. It's actually one of my favorite movies. It's about it's based on like a autobiography of a Icelandic witch hunter, basically. And there's like a famous scandal here. Some two guys that were burned at the stake for alleged sorcery, and he explained all these supernatural phenomena happening to him. And it has like a unique, Scandinavian humor in it. That's like a weird atmosphere. And like Odd Nerdrum does the painting in the church, like it's a painting of like Satan with a erection and God like smiting him with a sword. It's like really fucking epic.
The Lord of Darkness.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
There's like a debate in the movie. The movie kind of asks you a question: is he insane, or is the devil actually haunting him? It's like this movie is a fucking masterpiece. It's a famous Icelandic director, the same one that made The Flight of the Raven, if you know what that movie is.
The Raven Flies.
Yeah, the same director. He's like a really, really, unique character also, that guy. He's like a really good director, and it was like a huge high budget film, much higher than.
What is he called? He's called Hafn Gunnlaugsson.
Hrafn Gunnlaugsson.
Gunnlaugsson, yeah.
He is unfortunate fallen into the Thai. He's a Thai waifu. Fat.
Unfortunately.
Oh no.
Oh, it's the right wing to Asian waifu.
Yeah. the Lord of the Lord. I can't. No, witchcraft. It was called witchcraft. Sorry, witchcraft. I sent like a snippet of it into the chat. I'm gonna link.
Yeah.
I need to see.
I'm gonna hang on.
I am back, and I'm also going to bring with me Johannes Palaiologos.
Howdy.
Are you here?
Yes, that's right.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, how do I change the background on the avatar?
I think are you
Your camera
showing
is
your
on.
webcam?
Yeah.
I sent
That
the link
looks
in the
like
chat on the movie.
Oh, is that the problem? Okay.
I actually
Okay, I
have
have
to
some
get
tech
going.
issues. I'll be back any moment.
All right. Thank you for hanging out with Daya.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good rest of the holidays and Merry Christmas. Yuletide blessings and everything. Yeah, thanks for having me. Later.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Nice to see you.
Witchcraft. All right.
It's like this movie is like a source of endless memes and phrases. It's unbelievable.
There we go.
Geopolitics, that was the stream where Luddic Path still had the eyes on his logo. And then I pointed out it looks like his meme avatar still had a gag ball.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that stuck with me actually. So I had to rebrand.
Forever
I always thought it
damaged.
just looked like a honk nose. That's what I thought of it. But Leo is way more corrupted than I am, evidently.
No, it's the black band across. I mean, it's like, I'm sorry. I'm a child of the ashes. What can I say?
I also think the only reason, like if you look at this screenshot, if you look at the views, the only reason the Finland one has like 200 more views is that thumbnail. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe it's like, ooh, women, or maybe it's, oh my god, it's
Didn't you say that
Sanna Marin.
there's some Finnish Discord somewhere that's been sharing this stuff nonstop?
Yeah, I
might
actually
be it. Yeah.
I shared it to a pretty big sphere of one Finnish famous Twitter poster by the name of Blepsama. Maybe some people have heard.
Oh, Blepsama. Yeah.
Oh,
I thought
I guess
Blepsama was banned.
Yeah, he's banned, but he keeps coming back. Millions of accounts, millions must die. But yeah, he's technically a Finnish Swede, I think. But yeah.
Leo.
Yeah.
Why, when I sent you a video from this channel, like Wisdom of Odin, I need to get a reaction from you. That's
Which video was that?
The one about how he teaches us how to celebrate Yule. This wisdom coming from this American dude.
Where did you share that?
In the channel.
Oh yeah, now I remember. Yeah, it was so cringe.
If I don't get my reaction from you, like I need it. Sorry.
I'll look into it.
You need to be on alert when I send you this stuff. This channel is like a never-ending source of entertainment for me. I'm sorry.
You just like to torture me, man.
Yes.
I'm Carl. I can't handle cringe of that magnitude.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the first two shorts that Luddic posted of the American.
This is Wisdom of Odin. I'm gonna teach you how to celebrate you.
It was horrible.
I mean, I swear, all the religious cringe comes from America, be it pagan or Christian. It's just absolutely horrible.
I think
Maybe the problem is Americans, guys.
No, Americans are not the problem. We Europeans have also the atheist cringe problem. But
no, my take on this is like the American whole system is like Soviet people to Russians, like white Americans versus this cringe ass liberal democracy system. You know, it's not natural to their biospirit. That's my take on it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I also just think all the most out there religious movements from Europe, of course, fled to the New World. So
yeah, the retards from
yeah, so it's completely normal to expect the Americans to have more wild religious swings.
There was some aristocracy in the South, though, like established aristocracy.
Yeah, but they were defeated.
Yeah,
and they were like mostly like Anglo-French, so of course they were defeated.
Yeah.
Nordhuger, European History and Lore for $5 US says, "Merry Christmas, God Jul." Thank you. Now, episode 6 was the LGBTQ stream, and I found that very interesting because it's one of those things where you think that it's not so bad, that stuff over here, right? You read about it online, things are happening in England and in the US, but it's not too bad over here, right? People are still still more normal here. But after that stream, it's like, wow, this has gone further than I expected at all. Like, this has seeped into a lot more institutions than I thought. What do you think, Luddic Path?
Yeah, I mean, in my perfect world, this episode, like episode 6 on the Norwegian LGBTQ, that's kind of that should be like the template for the standard Longhouse episode. That every episode's going to be I've read like 1 or 2 books and done research, and then I present this kind of investigative journalist.
That's
that
where
type
this
essay, but,
type of episode started, because the psychedelia leftism is also one of those. And
yes, but it's a bit more on my memory, actually. I mean, the concept for a lot of these are just things that I had in the back of my mind. I mean, with the LGBTQ thing, I exclusively read a lot of stuff for that episode, right? Which it's not the case for most of these. This is just stuff that I knew already. Then I used the knowledge that I had to let's say like the esoteric new left and the psychedelia episode, for example. So.
Right.
Psychedelic. I have done way too much drugs to be on this side of politics. But literally, DMT turned me racist.
Yeah, but that's what they all say. I mean,
it was the else, right? It was the else.
Yeah, I mean, that's what almost every one of them says. But
not racist, sensible centrist.
Sensible centrist, yeah.
Oh yeah, sensible centrist.
Yeah, but
No,
I don't think it's weird at all, honestly. I mean, it's some of the, it used to be in the domain of the left, but I mean, currently the way that I think right-left dynamic is structured is that you have the left that is basically, you trust the experts, right? I mean, the experts have the final word of anything, so it's like this technocratic progressive class that's basically tells you what the science says and you believe them, and the right is the people who want to do something else. And right now, it's like if you're like into alternative stuff like DMT and stuff, you're probably going to be more like the Brian Hancock camp and
Graham Hancock.
Graham Hancock and the.
I do not
recommend
DMT for anyone. It is demonic. But flying sop, the Liberty Cap, I think it's called.
Yeah, I mean, it's
okay. That's something you can give to your kids. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
no.
But you should take the drugs. You should eat psychedelics that grow around you. That is Lindy and Trad.
The most traditional way to actually have fly amanita is to borrow a trick that the Sami shamans used to do. So
the pissing.
Yes, the reindeer.
I saw this. I am
the reindeer, and then drink the reindeer piss that is still psychedelic.
No, but it's not only that. It's I am the shaman, Teknosjaman. The Teknosjaman of my is I am my heritage is I am quarter Sami, and I come from a long line of Sami shamans, like literally.
Yeah, but which shaman has more higher power level, the Teknosjaman or Shaman Durek? That's the big
fucking Durek!
I'll remind you that we're on a platform where the Fed posting has to be kept to a minimum.
Yeah. Durek. Durek says his shamanic, what's it called? Like his shamanic credibility is he became a shaman because he had a dream once. That's his backstory. I had a dream and then I fought some demons in the dream and now I'm a shaman. I am a shaman because my mom was a shaman and her mom was a shaman, and as long Samis like for generation were shamans.
But Durek has like cross Cree life experiences, like in shamans multiple lifetimes.
No, but he's
Durek is a magician. Yeah, Durek is a Californian. That's basically all you need to know. I think in California, like 1 in 5 people are like that. They've had some kind of near-death experience or something like that, and they think they have they're in touch with the afterlife. Or they'll open a shop where they do palm reading or crystal treatments or stuff like that. Like it's just insane the amount of people who are into that stuff.
Have you talked about how he killed Ari Behn yet?
No, we haven't gotten to that stream. That's
I mean, he uses shamanism to
when
kill him.
It's cool down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
But
hard
in
enough trying to keep Othelia from Fed posting when we talked about it during the winter stream.
Yeah, she got banned the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Durek was clearly
Nordhuger, welcome to the stream.
Hey, thank you, gents. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a bit crowded in here. If anyone who's watching who isn't subbed to Nordhuger should go do so right now and watch his Assassin's Creed video. I don't care if you have played the game or not. I haven't played the game, or I haven't seen The Northman either, but it's a great video. The production quality is crisp, and it deserves a lot more views.
Oh,
Hey, thank you.
You
Yeah,
haven't-
well,
Northman. I'm sorry, Northhuger.
It's on my list.
Northman.
This is Leo. This is a space where doing "Haven't you seen X" is literally illegal. I will remove you from the chat if you pull like midwittery. Haven't you consumed content yet?
Yeah, but haven't you consumed the Viking product though? That's different, Walrus.
Oh yeah, that's the good one. Haven't you
The
consumed
good
Northman?
product.
Are you excited for next based product, Leo Borealis? That's the question.
Yes,
I
I,
love based.
I await Imperium Press's next publication.
Yeah. God, yeah.
Yeah, Northhuger, go ahead.
Just buy a book and then get excited for next esoteric book.
What's the
Just buy the full Imperium Press catalog. Then that's the based trad consumer practice right there.
Imperium Press translated the sagas. They sell the translated version. I can never give them for that.
The Mystery Grove publishing genuinely scares me. I'm afraid of getting shot if I don't buy their book soon.
Isn't he
That's
from
the publishing
California?
house that posts like personal tweets on their page.
Yeah. He's brilliant. I love that guy.
That's pretty good.
Don't Imperium Press have like 5 books on the page or something? Like not that many. At least I checked. They have like very few books for sale.
I had to institute a rule where I am only allowed to buy one book at a time, and I can't buy a new one until I have read the first one. So
I should follow this rule. I am very bad at. I think I'm in the middle of 7 books at any given time.
This is a mistake, Walrus, because this means that you will never have a library. I mean, I'm like 1,200 volumes behind my library right now. Last summer I found out that if I took a hiatus, if I quit my job and read like one book, say on average 300 pages a day, and just did that 5 days a week as a job, then I would have like 6 years of full-time employment just reading up on my library.
The first time I heard that, for example, AA, he doesn't read all through all his books. He just goes through the contents and reads a chapter that interests him. My mind was completely blown. I've never actually bought a book just to read one chapter or something.
Wow. Well, that's actually quite smart. It's certainly a way to do it.
Yeah.
This is why you should get audiobooks. Like you only should read like really old books that you can't get audiobooks. Like,
well, sure.
That's what I do. Like,
so what you're saying is AA never read through the entire Pareto stuff at all.
I'm saying it's
well,
possible.
I think once he writes a book on something, he's very thorough.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the advantage as well. If you read a lot of these like single chapters, like 10 years later, you can be like, oh yeah, I remember this book had a chapter about this topic, right?
Yeah, that's actually how I approach all of Evola's books. I skim through them. You read a couple of like the first ingress, and then you just a little bit on there, and just flip through it in an hour. and then I put it down, and then I sit on it for a week, and then I start reading through
Yeah,
it.
I mean, Evola, you can't digest what he's putting down by just reading like 3 chapters at a time. Right? It's not gonna.
No, I tried to start like hard reading Ride the Tiger and realized that I have to buy a couple of books on Nietzsche and a couple of other books that I've been meaning to get and read those first, because I'm not gonna get all the references. I'm gonna be gone.
It's like the meme where the collapse happens, and Leo brings his Evola books, Fjolnir brings his audio tapes, and I bring my Northman Blu-rays, and we're ready. We can build civilization from there.
Sorry, what?
If Julius Evola was alive, he would just go like, "Bro, have you not read Being in Time?" Like seriously.
I'm gonna bring back the.
Overrated.
I'm gonna bring back the streams here. Let's go on, and then we did, because the reason we started, the Longhouse to begin with was to basically be where we are today, where it could be sort of like a gathering point for Scandies, which once we got into contact with Leo and Berkarl, we wanted to do like an overview of both Sweden and Finland. So we did Sweden, which is the political state of Sweden. It's not. I forgot my train of thought. Sorry. It's a very nice episode for going through like. What is the state of Sweden?
As I like to say,
apropos Sweden. I'm in the Nordbol group chat.
Okay.
And what's his name? Henrik Johansen eller noe sånt noe.
Herr Sork.
Ja.
Oh, yeah.
You should have him on.
Yeah, I mean, if he's willing to come on, or if I can just DM him. Some people have their DMs turned off, so it's hard to. I don't like atting people randomly on Twitter. I feel like that's risky
if
behavior.
his DMs are closed, I can.
I'll talk to you if it's.
Yeah.
Then episode 10 was Folk Tales, another one of my favorites, actually, despite the low view numbers. Just because it's very cozy. It's cozy. It's nice. We look at some nice artwork. We talk about some fairy tales. I actually did like a pre-video where I like put on voice filters and read through East of the Sun and West of the Moon, or was it the other way?
Skål.
Was that the stream with Asbjørn Samo?
Yes. It was. And then Easter Special, which I think was a bit of a filler episode. Do you remember anything from that, Bloody Path? I actually don't remember anything.
A lot of news articles.
Okay.
Relating to various stuff. I think we did something on this sort of property, like this rental property scandal with politicians.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
It was some a lot of chat questions.
Yes. It would have been cool to do black metal on Resurrection Day.
Yeah. It was actually scheduled for Resurrection Day, and we moved it. So
we chucked out on that one, but we try to be as diplomatic as possible.
Sure. And then Black Metal stream, which was very fun. We got the based black metal enjoyer. I think I made him get a Twitter account, which I think has been nothing but a detriment for his personal health, as it usually goes.
Many such cases.
Many such cases. Ludwig Path, you started a Twitter recently, and you asked me in Telegram if you should get a Twitter account, and I said, for PR purposes, yes. For personal reasons, no.
Well, yeah, it was good advice. I already feel like I should go to rehab. I mean, I was at work today, and my work was like 6 hours Twitter and like half an hour coding, and then 1 hour of meetings or something. I feel absolutely terrible, but I got new followers, so it's okay.
And then, but of course, the black metal stream was good. I really enjoyed that. I think it did well. I
Great, and
think
we
it's a
picked
good
up a lot of
episode.
new
I think if
fans,
you haven't watched
on that
it,
one.
yeah, and I think if you haven't watched it, you should definitely go back and watch that one. Then we get to the NATO and current events. That's one of the episodes that I think is, like, from a technical perspective, I suppose, is my least favorite because I feel like I did very bad in that episode. But it was very fun to chat with Prudentialist. It's not his fault. I just feel like I didn't prepare the right stuff, I think. Moving
Yes,
appreciation.
I think it was for most of us. We didn't prep enough on geopolitics, but I think most of us were very ignorant of geopolitics until very recently, right? I think the Ukraine stuff has made people more aware of the realities of that. But I mean, at that point, we were all sort of green on it, so it was a little bit slow, but we still picked up a lot of viewers from the Prudentialist camp.
You see, I have a friend, Tore Rasmussen, who lived in Ukraine before anything happened, and then he's been ever since like shuttling refugees out from the place, and then he ended up on like a Russian intelligence hit list.
All right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, old friend of mine. He's been kicked out of England. And he tried because
What?
he started. Yeah, he started the Generation Identity, helped like organize all of that in England, and then he went out of the country and he tried to get in again, and he just no, you're not allowed in anymore.
All right.
So the Russians weren't kidding about denazification, apparently.
Apparently.
Apparently
No.
not.
Oh, definitely not.
No, they really don't like Nazis there. Ish.
Ish.
Oh yeah, regime loyalist Nazis are not, Nazis.
Very practical.
North. Moomin appreciation. I really enjoyed that just because it's cozy. We get to geek out about Moomin and tell people
You guys
that
have
they should buy it for their kids.
Mumikops?
Yes.
No, I don't.
You don't?
Yes, of course.
I don't.
What the I officially what's it
I
called?
know. I've seen you post them.
I denounce and reject Mr. Walrus here for not owning any Moomin cups. It is.
It's fine. I like the art. I just don't like it on my cups. That's my stance.
No, there are tons of designs. I mean, they're really milking it over here. But I even showed you my Moomin cup before the stream.
All right. Well, I mean, if we ever do meet up at the event or something again, you have to donate me a good Moomin cup because I haven't seen one
They're
yet.
fucking expensive designer items.
Well, I'll pay
But sure,
you for
I'll
it
make
if
it.
you find a good one.
Nei, så det er 250 spenn.
Do it anyway.
Du har råd til det, mann. 250 spenn.
And then for the 15th episode,
Just to add a point
Oh,
here,
sorry.
like my wife gave me so much shit for not prepping for the Moomin stream, and she made me read like a lot of Moomin books afterwards. She was also upset that we didn't cover more Snork Maiden, and there's certain points she objected to, but otherwise, well, I had fun. I still had fun.
Yeah. And then we have the 3-hour-long lecture from Leo Borealis that was the Scandinavian History Part 1, which was very nice. I really enjoyed it.
I apologize for nothing.
Oh, it's great. I think it's amazing that we have people who are knowledgeable in these things and are willing to share them on the stream. Episode 16 is one of my other sort of top 10s, which has become a bit of a mainstay with Luddic Path. It's one of yours where you go off on a journey for a couple of weeks and come back with usually a very interesting take on something that a lot of people might cock their eyebrows at in the sphere, right?
Yes, I mean, in some sense, you should just be glad that I wasn't on Twitter at this point, right? Because it would have just been a Twitter thread at this point, or some just like a series of tweets. But instead, because I'm not on that, I wasn't on that platform. I actually put together a presentation and some research, and could turn it into something that was a little bit more listenable. But yeah, it's a funny episode. There's some like spicier stuff in the end there as well. I particularly like the Sacha Baron Cohen stuff.
Yeah.
For those of you who want to
stream,
go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's a good one. We have 18, which is, where did episode 17 go? Oh, I think that was pre-recorded. Oh, sorry. Episode 17 was pre-recorded.
I think maybe it's the incel episode or something. So it's going to be under videos, not.
But I remember it's the incel video, which also I enjoyed a lot because it's another one where it's a subculture, but it's also a subculture that has influenced the right online in a certain way. But it's a tough question whether or not it should actually be catered to, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten a lot of good feedback on the incel episode. The problem is that I don't like it because I had to change setups last minute because of problems. Right now, my microphones are really bad on that one, so I don't like listening back to it. But I mean, people still really liked it.
Yeah, and the views reflected that as well. Then we did self-improvement and just general politics, which was a fun stream, I remember. But I'm not sure if I remember much about the content other than, self-improving yourself into oblivion.
A lot of hustling.
And we shared some funny memes there, and we looked at some books and stuff. I think that was one of my favorite parts, where we tried to compare like female and male ways to self-improve.
That's true. And then we have the absolute state of Denmark, in which Jay Green River did a good job on telling us about the political state of Denmark. And then Longhouse 20 was meme review. Always a crowd pleaser. Nothing noteworthy. But next one is the right-wing drama and sugar-free soda. I think that's also a very good episode. Mostly just because of how many people in chat who came from the outside, who came from not Scandinavia, and specifically not Norway, having like a what the fuck moment over us reading the article about how much Pepsi Max the average Norwegian consumes.
Not to dox myself entirely, but I work at a matbutikk.
A grocery store.
A grocery store. And holy shit, people are buying Pepsi Max at retard rates. R-word rates. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think you can say that word.
Is charged here as well. I'm drinking as we speak.
I'm drinking beer and whiskey.
Very good.
I have a very nice wine.
I was going to get beer. I was going to get like the Julebrygg Danish one, but I couldn't.
Yeah, speaking about the cola, I mean, that was the thing when I was working in Norway in the late noughts, and we had a little me and a couple of Swedes who I worked with. We had some Norwegian colleagues, and we had a lot of fun about our Norwegian colleagues. Working maybe half an hour per day, because they started the workday with røyk og kåle, and then they pretended to start working, and then it was time for a little break because they needed another røyk and kåle. And I think they consumed, like, per person, 2 packets of cigarettes a day and 2 liters of Coke.
Based. Peaty, very peaty.
Do you guys have these like orange soda in your country?
The orange soda?
Yeah, like it's not cola. It's the soda, except it's orange, like with orange flavor, kind of like.
Is it like Solo or Fanta?
Or
Solo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
Norwegian or?
That's Norwegian, yeah.
Here it's
Zulu
called.
is quite good.
Here it's
Yeah,
called
it's quite good.
appelsin.
I think it's Norwegians invented the orange soda.
I thought the Fanta was a mid-century German project.
Yeah, it was.
I heard Norwegians invented it. I refuse to believe
Maybe
anything
they
else.
did it for the Reich.
We have our own version of this since like the.
What if I told you it was Finnish and the mid-century Germans copied it?
No, it's
Oh.
Norwegian.
It was actually Hyperborean, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Jaffa is a very the Finnish drink.
That's weird since the orange is like not that old.
Yeah.
Here it's called. Here it's
You
called.
don't know what kind of technology they had in Atlantis, Leo.
I
They
see.
oranges.
The modern orange is like a racial memory recreation of the forbidden
Yeah.
fruit.
Yeah, it's in the DNA of the fruit. You can trace it back to the
And
spaceship that it
our tree
arrived on.
died, so we had to re-engineer it from grapefruit and lemon
That's it.
In Antarctica today,
until
they're
it
still
became just right.
In Antarctica today, they're still perfecting the Super Soldier Fanta waffle.
They were also
I just had this image in my head of a very what's that game called? Like a Wolfenstein armored super soldier, but he has like 2 tanks of Fanta on his back that are just plugged into the helmet.
constantly refreshed.
Protected from scurvy.
So then we'd have 2 episodes, which I think are some of the best work we've done this year, and specifically Luddic Path, which is the Open Society episodes. Very good. If you haven't watched those, you should.
Yeah, I mean,
Soros
again,
picture.
that's the the format that I actually wanted to have for most of the episodes, where I actually do read a little bit before it. The picture I like as well, because I try to use the moose painting in the background.
Yeah, very good.
I didn't go back to the design, but that's where I start to standardize the URLs a little bit. No, sorry, the not the URLs, but the thumbnails.
The thumbnails, yeah.
With the they have the yellow with the black font.
Yeah,
as a sort of standard thing. I think that's what stands out the best in the feeds.
Yeah, I think so too. And then Longhouse 23 is pretty much me holding Black Metal Enjoyer and Luddic Path hostage for like 2.5 hours talking about power metal.
You're a power metal guy?
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Like right now?
Yeah.
It depends if you would like define it as power metal, but let me bring up my music program here. I've been really into Wolf Tooth lately, and I'm not sure if you would even classify that as power metal, but I feel it's power metal meets like mid-career Sabbath. Wolf Tooth.
What did you call it? Wolf Tooth?
Yeah.
Never heard of. Need to check out.
I did a thread on Twitter. Maybe I can link it to you about like what I'm listening to currently.
What's your best album?
My best album.
No, their best album.
Their best album. Well, I think their newest one is the best one. They're quite new, so they have like 2 albums.
I'll check that out later. I love power metal.
Yeah, me too.
This is the origin of the Power Snake. You had a lot of fun with that Luddic Path. The Brothers of Metal song, Power Snake.
I actually did like the power metal episode because I learned about some bands that I haven't heard about before. Glory Hammer, for instance, or the Brothers of Metal, or some of these things. I mean, so it's a little bit cringy, but it's still very fun to listen to.
Yes, it is.
Check out the amount of views on the one with the Soros face.
It's very prophetic.
It's cursed.
Gerontocracy and hate memes, where we talk. What specifically?
This was a last-minute episode, right? We were going to have somebody else on. I don't know.
This is the one where Teknosjaman was actually supposed to be on.
Yeah, that's right.
Can I ask who made the masterful intro of all of the podcast of the stream?
I did.
It's perfect.
Well,
it's so
you
encapturing
should
of the
enjoy it
Scandinavian.
while it lasts, because I think I'm gonna axe it for something else, but I'm gonna try to keep the soul of it.
It captures the Scandinavian biospirit perfectly. The intro.
So if I understand,
Walking
it's like
around in the woods.
clips from the Element channel, and we put the Edvard Grieg music on top, like with the round Norway. Norge Rundt,
Yeah, I
theme
collected
song.
a bunch of memes from various Scandinavian countries, from sketches and stuff like that. I just put them together. And then the Selfish Gene and Its Consequence, another great stream.
That's one of my
about
favorites.
Richard Dawkins, and followed up by Sam Harris, where we had a very good timing. Like 4 weeks of research just in time for him to have a meltdown on the trigonometry interview. And yeah, we were accurately and well equipped enough to basically show everyone that this was a long time coming, I think.
Yeah,
this is almost like synchronicity, basically, that this would happen at that time. There's no way we would have gotten that viewer number. It would probably be at the same or less maybe than the Selfish Gene episode if it wasn't for the fact that Sam Harris was trending on Twitter, and you could just link people to, if you want a stream where you just dunk on him for 3 hours, then we have that. And there was a big audience for it, and it's kept accumulating views as well over time.
This is kind of the same thing when you call your friend and he was about to call you exactly at the same time. If you know what I mean.
It's the same kind of thing.
Same kind of.
Then it's 29, which was Pentti Linkola, which I really enjoyed. Was a cozy stream where Burkarl basically did a lot of the heavy lifting by translating a lot of his works or his interviews, etc. Which is why I think this is a great platform. We have a lot of people who are very interested from across the Scandinavian countries who are able and willing to do stuff like that. Watch Pentti Linkola if you haven't, because the clips that are floating around on the web don't really accurately describe him.
Yeah, that the main reason I plan to actually before the Longhouse and everything, the stream was about. I was planning on making it a classical video essay series, but I think this format and handing it over to here was a much better thing, and I wanted to do it because the English language sphere has had some serious misconceptions about what Linkola is at the core. I mean, the book material from the books can be construed very easily as press the base button, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was a bit saddened that I couldn't make that stream, because Linkola is one of those that as you say, is often misconstrued in the minds of most people. I mean, sure, he has some cringe moment, but the man is throughoutly based in his core, and he has some really what do you call it? Synchronized views with Uncle Ted.
Well,
they have looked at to a strange extreme. Yeah, to a strange extreme, I'd say.
For completely different reasons. Uncle Ted basically thought anarcho-primitivism good, and whereas Linkola didn't really care about humans. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like the grog and the grog midwit and the genius meme. I mean, both the grog and the genius come to the same conclusion, but the grog completely misses the point, but it doesn't matter because it comes to the same conclusions anyway.
Yeah,
I don't.
It doesn't matter. He doesn't understand why, and he just post hoc rationalizes why it is, why he thinks this way.
It's always the grog and the genius versus the middle.
Linkola is basically a secular atheist shaman. That's what I get the feeling.
That's very interesting. Yeah. And apparently he was very good looking when he was young as well. Something we found out. Linkola.
Watch it stream for plenty of pics on that.
Yeah. You can see why he was married like 4 times or something.
No, he was only married once.
Oh, but he had like 4 women
Oh yeah,
living with him or something. It was like it's a weird thing at some point, I remember.
Yeah, they came and went. Sometimes 2 at a time.
Deeply subversive.
He has the Hakkinen physiognomy.
Yes. Oh, where's the State of Finland stream? Because that introduced the the glorious it's this one. The glorious physiognomy chart of Sweden or of Finland, or what you called it. I still remember that. That was great.
Was it the 7 races of Finland, I think?
Yes,
the 7 races of Finland. That was it. Yeah.
I think Finnish people should be allowed to drive drunk.
I don't think so.
Bad idea.
No.
You're saying that explicitly as a foreigner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to live with the fallout of that.
It's very aesthetic to me, Burkarl, that you drive drunk.
Well, the fin and the internal combustion engine doesn't mix because they're not meant to mix.
Of course,
the fin not meant.
I mean, they're
racing
rally
drivers.
champions.
No, it does mix.
Of course.
It does mix.
My friend Synth, what's his? He gets banned all the time. The Synth. Yeah. He has lots of takes about drunk driving, and he's a Finnish guy. And there's the Finnish rally guys. So I just trust Finnish people to drive drunk.
Yeah, but
no, you misunderstand. They are able to drive extremely well when they are sober, because then the extreme autism kicks in. Once they are drunk, the extreme autism is decoupled, and then it's just chaos.
I like chaos.
For any Formula drivers out there, bois.
You know, if you take a map of America...
Sorry, Nordhuger, what did you say?
So if you take a map of America and you look at the rates of drunk driving accidents, and then you take another map of America and look at the rates of Germanic descent, it is 1-to-1. I kid you not.
Based.
I saw statistics about what's the state that's the penis of America.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida has the most people riding bikes because everyone has lost their licenses driving drunk.
Sounds like Florida.
Very
notorious
show.
Florida man.
So having it like over in my home province in Värmland, because during weekends we have one patrol car in the entire state. One.
Okay. Final time. Peregrinus, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Are you here? Hello. We can hear you.
Do you hear me?
We hear you.
What's that
Do you
accent?
have anything you want to
say hello?
All right. We'll just keep moving on then. I want to get through all of these episodes before the night is over here. After Pentilingula, we did the Witten review, which is the event that was in England, in Birmingham, in which Leo Borealis and me had a paradigm shift experience in the taxi from Birmingham to the West Midlands.
Yeah. When we turned left down the street and found ourselves like in central Pakistan.
Yes.
And our driver hit the guy.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
This was also after that Walrus was supposed to find us a nice restaurant to have a lunch. He found a burger place, and he found the most hipster place in the central.
Well, I think it's a fair mistake. I I think it's a fair mistake to look at a place that looks like it's, it looks like it's aged, right? But I didn't realize that it was like the fake hipstery way aged until we got there. The pictures, it looked very different from the.
It's
the
Birmingham,
end product.
right? You have to lower your expectations.
Yeah, but Walrus was just trying to bring about the new age right synthesis.
And you can see melodic path, we didn't mind, we just laughed at it, and well, let's just eat something and get a beer. But you can hear him how defensive Walrus gets, how mortified he was. Yeah, because he was really not happy when we went in there. He was like apologizing all the time.
Well, because I genuinely thought I'd found us like a nice place, right? No, I'm not saying like expensive, but like a somewhat authentic place, right?
Yeah, it was a really nice locale. I mean, they had done with that. They just, the rest.
Yeah, but I mean, like the location was in an older part of town, right? It was. I was hoping I would be able to experience.
Yeah, and it was like the industrial thing that goes through the stream that went there. It was really nice, but.
Well, I mean, I should have guessed it when like the on the street opposite to this restaurant was like these big like those big high rises that look the same like wherever you are in the world.
Yeah, with geometric tiled thing, and you can find them in Jakarta, you can find them in Paris, you can find them in your local hometown. It's the copy pasta.
I wasn't defensive as much as I was annoyed that I had guessed wrong, I guess.
Yeah, and then we got drunk with Yarv.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, with the big mold bug himself.
I don't think any one of us talked to a mold bug.
I did, like for a couple of minutes. Yeah, he sat next to me during a couple of talks randomly. So we talked a bit.
What's she like in person?
Well, I mean, I think he was a combination of jet lagged and drunk to the point where I'm not really sure. He was having a very good time.
Californian. That's
he's very Californian.
Yeah.
I have some remote family down in Santa Barbara, or up in Santa Barbara, perhaps. Depending how you view America, but and I would say that he fits the baseline Californian quite well. He's affable. I mean, he was a nice guy.
Oh yeah, definitely funny. And for anyone who wonders, the memes about how academic agent is in real life are, as far as I can tell, all true.
He's like Trump in that way. He tries to get across the idea that he has a public persona, but he hasn't. It's the way that he is on streams. He's that in person as well.
If
anything, he is more like that in person.
Well, I mean, he sort of doxed himself since he published a book using his name, but
there's also like a lecture of him on YouTube on
probably, yeah.
Have you docked his face on some stuff as well?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's been like that for years. Like, if you really wanted, you could probably figure out who he is.
It has been more or less of an open secret. I mean, since 16. I mean.
Yeah, he has this like Italian name, right? Like Italian woman name.
I mean, if you want to reference at least like my impression of what he's like in real life, if you've seen the movie Other People's Money with Danny DeVito as the main character, as playing Lawrence Garfield, basically he's like that character but less likable. Sorry to say,
but it's funny because it's true.
Didn't Walrus tell that academic agent said to him that Burkhardt looks like the North Anon meme in real life?
No, he looks like the Nordic Gamer meme. He looks like the Yes Chad meme.
Yeah, I was talking about that.
And he does, but Bear Carl has a bigger chin.
Yeah. He's certainly. Is it? I'm trying to remember the races of Finland. Is it Tavastian?
Yeah, Tavastian.
Yeah, he's the
You're
he's
certainly that, Carl. All right. Moving on. Yuval Noah Harari, another great one, I think.
Yeah, that was a good one.
In which
it's one of my favorites. I mean, it dragged on for a little bit, but like all of us had read before this stream, so there was so much to go on, and I felt like it held a very high standard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's one of those where the more you read, the more you can just dunk on, which makes for a good time, I guess. The Robert Cialdini one is good as well, I think. I really enjoy it, and
I hope people enjoyed it. I was a little bit tired on that stream, so I listened back to it. I made some mistakes on their way, but I think for people who are not introduced to that material, it's a nice introduction.
And I think it's a nice not necessarily meta politics or just current politics view into things that actually are relevant to us. Just what's the title of the book? Win friends and convince people. I forget the title of the book. It's that kind of thing.
The book is called Influence, right?
Yeah, I know he calls it. I was thinking about the other book, but
How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah, I was just thinking, having those skills or knowing the Cialdini sort of logic is useful to a lot of people to understand the world around them.
At least us artists, right?
You said it,
those
not
of us
me.
who need to train our social intelligence. Oh God,
I definitely needed it.
And then we have Gary's Molotov, which was a nice interview, basically, with about the Coomer and the inner J-Man. Which is, you watched this guy for a while, Lytic Path.
Yeah, I've been subscribed to him, so I wanted to get an interview with him at some point. So I just reached out on Telegram. It was surprisingly easy. I was very happy with how this turned out because we sent him the interview questions and he had prepared himself very well to answer. I thought the material was funny as well, and we brought over some of his audience, I think, to the stream. I'm actually just surprised that this doesn't have more views or more likes than it does, but it is what it is.
Oh my God, Nordhuger, did you AI generate these?
Maybe.
Oh, I'm gonna bring them up. Hang on. Can I open the? I do this and then open a new tab. Share screen. This is the
based
Fanta Death Squad future.
You will be refreshed.
They're fucking cool
Looks so
as well.
gangster in the second one.
Yeah.
Now we must launch into a tirade or an esoteric analysis of the Othello rune upside down.
No, it's the Udal.
Udal,
Yeah. Oh wow, the
it
last
is,
one is really.
They say it's for family. Is the Othal sammensvarer med
Yeah, but hey, look at the stars here.
Yeah. It's
but on this picture.
If this man came up to you holding this Fanta and offered you some,
would you drink it?
Yes, but there's a 6-pointed star on him.
Oh shit!
Sus.
Sus. I wouldn't drink it. Yeah.
This is literally what Kanye posted. This is what got Kanye banned. He posted this image.
Sorry, Boris. We love the state of Israel.
Yes, we do. If I could, I would have had dinner with Netanyahu with JBP.
I mean, when we really made it, right, this is when we have Netanyahu on the podcast.
Just have pride for all of it.
cried through all of it.
Yeah, I mean, he would just have seen, Benjamin Netanyahu and started crying, and then it would just go on. It would be fucking embarrassing.
Oh god. Hyperborea, which is another lecture by Professor Borealis, which I think is a very interesting take on it, or interesting angle, because it actually retroactively is a bit of a poignant episode, because the Netflix documentary that got a bit of flack from the history community, right?
A bit.
It's sort of similar in its angle.
Yeah, I mean,
more grounded, perhaps, obviously. I mean,
Graham Hancock is in his own way. He is an author and quote unquote journalist. I mean, he has good intentions, but he is a bleeding heart liberal, and he likes to go on liberal inspired tangents.
Right.
And let's just say the man overindulged in marijuana for decades.
Ayahuasca, wasn't it?
No, that was before. That was after. I mean, this is not really a man who will, what is the Fox slogan again? Fair and balanced. I mean, you have to realize that this man is not a historian. He will bring on interesting people. So, but the narrative he spins in his books, and with is slightly muted down in the Netflix or Amazon series that he was allowed to make. So, well, I guess you could watch it. It's a good idea, but the good work that Graham Hancock has made essentially is bringing the work of people like Randall Carlson, people like Robert Schoch into the mainstream, into the public sphere of awareness that this is a thing. And the response to this his series has been
absolutely confirmed him to be right.
Yeah.
And 2022 standards.
In the managerial regime, why it went from nothing. This comes out.
Yep.
And then it just explodes in hit pieces.
When the first thing you hear about something is, here's why this is bad, that should just tell you that, it's true.
More or less, because the thing is that the way that it is presented, if you take to, your local chuds who doesn't know anything about history, and then you just present the core facts, like this is modern history. The Bronze Age start here, the Neolithic start here, and modern people like you and me has been around for say confirmed by modern history 300,000 years, but by fossil remains maybe a million years. So kind of odd that no one thought to do anything up until 6,500 years ago.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. And the church go, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Because I like having a house. I would build a house. Why didn't these people build a house? It doesn't make sense.
My take on it is kind of, they were more intelligent if they were higher IQ. If it's a possibility they would have the foresight to see the fallings of industrial society. You're talking about a tribe of Uncle Teds, basically, and they would say, nope, we're not going that path, and that's why we haven't had a civilization. That's maybe one theory.
Yeah, that's an idea you can have. The thing is, it runs into this little thing called marine archaeology quite quickly. I shouldn't go into this because then we will lay another.
Maybe we have to do an episode 2 of that one too, as well. Let's move on to the Gargoyles retrospective, which was
That was
a
a
bit
good
of a pet project of Luddic Path.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to comment on the Hyperborea stream that I mean, it has like a very high viewer count.
I think it's because
really
what's her name shared us on her Telegram.
Philosophic Cat, but it's only because of the Hyperborea meme, because all of the things that Leo has done has the same level of like high quality as the Hyperborea stream, but they have relatively like few views because it's like quote unquote boring Scandi history or something.
I'm sure the Hyperborea stream, if I go on the analytics, like look at the graph of like viewer retention, it's going to be like people go in and then they like watch for like a minute and then they X out.
Yeah, they were hoping for like this kind of spinning Black Sun or something with funk music, but then they just got a history lesson. But yeah, anyway, I think all of Leo's videos should have like 1.6k views, but that's just how it is. So, well, yeah, Gargoyles. It also has less views than I expected. I thought there would be like slightly more interest in the show, but sometimes I'm a little bit out of sync with the DR and the sort of E-Right crowd in terms of what they want for entertainment and like what nostalgia properties they like and so on.
Well, that's the beauty of the NPR of the Sensible Center, Luddic Path. It doesn't matter what they want. We will just air it anyway.
It's what I want, dummies.
Yeah.
Which has more views, the nice promo video Luddic Path did, or the stream itself?
I think the promo has a lot more views.
I think the promo has more.
Oh,
fair. It's fucking great.
I just want to inject that I am so happy with my new wine cup.
I saw the picture of it on Twitter. Let me see if I can bring it up.
Best buy this year.
It's Leo Borealis' new wine cup for everyone to enjoy. All right, let's get back to the videos. Oh, we're almost at the end here. So, King of the Hill with Jay Burden, that's another great one. And it seems that whenever we have Jay Burden on, it looks like it could take like 4 hours if he wanted to, which I guess it's a good sign.
Yeah, that episode was great. It's probably one of my favorites. But yeah, he's a great guest to have on. Conversation flows nicely, and he brings an audience. I'm surprised it doesn't have more videos. I know that like Hank Hill and it's like a huge meme in the E-Right circles.
Yeah. Maybe I miss. What is Stick in the Mud says? A walrus is a niche fetish intellectual, perhaps. What is he trying to say? Am I misunderstanding what he's saying here?
Maybe
am I being lost in translation? What is he calling me a doofus, or is he saying that I have niche fetishes?
If I take it in the best possible way, I think he's trying to say that all these different niche intellectual topics that are handled on this channel,
right?
They're like not the standard ones, but niche themes.
Yeah, that's what we're about. Yeah. This is.
I think this is more
lovers.
I think that moniker is more appropriate for me, honestly, because
I think so too.
A lot of these weird topics is like it's stuff that I come up with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's. I think maybe he's referring to the channel as a whole here, because I think it's more appropriate to say that that's you, Luddic Path. The King of the Hill episode with Jay Burton was good. Yeah, I liked it too. Then we did AMA and political strategy, which I'm not sure if we answered that many questions. I just remember us talking for quite a while.
This one was very popular, actually, and we did answer a lot of questions. I was just surprised at how good the response was on this particular video, because it wasn't very well planned. There was just a few articles and some questions, and we got so many thumbs.
Right. I remember us talking afterwards that we were kind of annoyed that it's one of those things where you spend a lot of time prepping something and it gets like 500 views, and then for one video you just show up and you get double of that amount, right?
Yeah, very
it's
true.
The rule of the internet.
It's the rule. Longhouse 39 was bodybuilding, and we're getting into the recent stuff. Another very interesting one.
Arnold posting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me go back to the gym for real.
Yes. I think it's had that effect on a lot of people, which is good. Good.
Very good. Keep at it.
Longhouse 40, the women appreciation stream, which was a bit more of a women discussion stream, which featured the first female guest ever on the Longhouse.
And she got fed posty.
She got fed posty, which I actually didn't expect. I did not expect it to go that way.
You've never seen her feed? You haven't followed her?
I've seen her feed,
like,
but I wasn't.
Her entire thing is fed posting.
I wasn't aware she would go as hard on stream. I was actually more afraid that she would be like turned off by the reeing in the chat, but it worked out fine. And then another one with Jay Burden, which features what I think is the best intro video I've ever made for the Longhouse.
Yeah, the movie Bob. It was so good.
I have to say
it was also a very fun stream.
Yeah, conversation with Jay Burden and Americans more generally flows way too smoothly. We have to have these Nordic awkward pauses. It's part of the channel.
It's part of the aesthetic. Next up, we have the right-wing progressivism with Ubersoy, which was interesting. I'll put it like that. I didn't feel that I really got an answer to a lot of my questions.
Yeah, I mean, we asked a lot of people in the Element chat to ask questions. I think a lot of people left somewhat disappointed, but I think for people,
hang on,
we're
someone
starting
messing with their microphone. Stop that.
Get Fjolnir.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, shut it down.
I think we're good.
Yeah, it's quiet now, but it's probably an entertaining episode for people coming from the outside, just hearing the discussions. So we did get some interesting early life stuff.
Oh yeah, sure.
But in terms of answering the questions from the chat, I think a lot of people were left wanting. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. The early life stuff when that came out.
Yeah, I think there's a...
that was the best part.
I think there's a post from me in our group chat, Leo, like a half a minute after he posted that, where I screenshotted like the entire chat going sus.
We love the nation of Israel.
Yes. Scandinavian History Part 2, which I think was very good, because it's a different take on the... Scandinavian history of the early Viking Age. It's a bit more of a deep dive into the culture, the technology, and the sort of the setting that allowed the Vikings to flourish during those eras, instead of just rehashing big burly men raiding Lindisfarne, which is fun, but I mean it's been done like a million times.
Yeah, we get to to really go into autism levels of boat technology.
Yeah, we spent a lot more time on boats than I anticipated.
It's really important. The boat is the chariot of the sea, and the chariot is really important.
I do agree.
Have you seen the Wolfgang Wee episode with the Bull Hansen guy?
I think I have it on my YouTube watch later, and then I forgot to watch it later.
Bull Hansen, is that the Norwegian author who did the Jormsviking series?
Yeah, and he's been he's been fed posting on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that guy hasn't been censored by the YouTube algorithm. I mean,
I don't understand how he hasn't, because he seems very much adjacent to our spheres. Although he keeps a strange distance, because he mostly keeps to posting outdoorsy philosophy, right?
I think that is what saves him, because he has been anti-COVID and fed posting since years.
For quite a while, yeah.
Yeah, but
have you seen the Wolfgang with Mr. Pimp lotion?
Okay.
The
Mr.
Norwegian
Pimple
rapper.
Lotion.
He's a Norwegian
Okay.
rapper, and he's against the sneed oils. He's sunning his ball. Have you not heard this?
No.
This is unheard of levels of sphere overlap.
He has an album called Lotions 11.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He's a old friend of me, the Oral B guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is.
Early.
I don't listen to
2000s.
rap. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's. Remember what Evola said about America.
Yeah, but he's Norwegian.
Yeah, it comes here. Rap is
Sure.
the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
In any case, this cements it. I mean, Aurora, since you're also Norwegian, you have to get Bull Hansen on because he's a funny guy. I mean,
I've been watching his videos for quite a while. So
yeah, me too. I mean, he has some, it's kind of normie takes, but I don't mind. I mean, it's
being right, so I don't really care.
No, I mean it's the grog take, but the grog take is in itself always correct. Not always, doesn't really understand the nuance behind it, but it doesn't really matter because the outcome is correct.
I think someone who can act on instinct correctly as often as someone like him or other people do is very good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
it's part of why I shill Knut Hamsun so much, because he's a guy who pretty much, himself talked a lot about how he, doesn't have a formal education and things like that. He sort of just works on instinct on a lot of this stuff, and he still comes out on top so many times when it comes to philosophical and political takes.
Yeah, it's the natural high low against the mid.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, I think. Many within our spheres and within AA spheres, primarily the Americans, doesn't understand this, and they seem incapable of learning this lesson. It is always the high and the low against the fucking mid managerials, always, because the aristocrats is just the. If you want to really, shave off all the trimmings and go to the root of it, the aristocrats are the farmers, grogs that have the capacity to. They're the smart grogs, more or less.
The kulaks, yes.
Yeah, they are the kulaks. I mean, these are the people who have this, come from the same background, have the same values as the grogs, but have the cognitive capacity and the spiritual capacity to be leaders, to take nuanced decisions and say, we're not going to do that right now, we're going to do that later.
The low and also have a certain degree of purity about them, like innocence. They don't have this arrogant, intellectual arrogance that the middle always has.
Or irony that develops.
Is the mind
a lot
too
more
small
authentic.
to doubt?
So annoying. It's like a Warhammer 40k quote. Blessed is the mind too small for doubt.
Indeed.
Yes.
The thing is that you have also this in traditional society. The merchant is always the lower class, the lowest class. He produces nothing. The farmer produces food, the craftsman produces goods, the tradesman produces services necessary to serve both the craftsman and the farmer. The aristocrat protects the rest of them. He's the warrior. He's the local leadership, but his place is to organize and to stand in the front line against external threats. And that is why he's elevated. The merchant just shoves, you can get cool cheese from the next county over. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I mean, sure.
It's just midwittery. It's the whole, shenanigans of being a merchant is just being a midwit. You're just.
Yeah. That is what the managerial class is. They're merchants. They are selling something that you don't need. They've just made you think that you need it.
I remember I heard actually once that the English was like before actually 200 years ago or something. They had these tight rules during the British Empire about how you should advertise and sell things, like really fucking strict rules. And the mercantilism, the business should not encroach on civic society. And then all of a sudden, certain group arrived, not to mention that, and they just disregarded that rule entirely. Just opened selling stances everywhere, and the whole society changed basically. So it's a interesting tidbit of history there.
Speaking of a changing society, a recent stream with witticism on Dave Ramsey and the Boomer Cons and how the economy is going to shit. I think that was a good one as well. I enjoyed talking to witticism. What do you think, Logic Path?
Yeah, no, I mean, in retrospect, it was an enjoyable stream to listen to, but I think that we talked too much and witticism talked too little. Honestly, I think more people showed up for him, so we have to be. I think we should just be more mindful of that in the future. That if you have guests, we make them do more talking.
Force him to talk. Well, that wasn't really an issue with the guest we had on last week, which was Frody Midjor from Guide to Culture. He's been in the game for long enough that we could pretty much just give him a question. He'd talk for like 15 minutes. So, but I'm very glad. Frody good. But it was also very nice because we told him that it would take about 1.5 hours, and we made it exactly 1.5 hours, which I enjoyed. It pleased my autism. So here we are, I guess, after 1 year of the Longhouse. I feel like it started pretty much on a whim. Wouldn't you agree, Ludwig Path? It was like 1 or like 2 Telegram messages, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna put out a video and ask if anyone wants to, be panelists, and then we'll do it, I guess. And here we are, like a year later. I'm talking as if we have hundreds and thousands of views. We don't, but it's all about the.
Yes,
it's
about we started from the bottom, right? We started from the bottom, and now we're
here.
Started from 1K video.
But it's about all the friends we made along the way, right?
1,550 subscribers, pretty good.
It's not on the channel for a year, it is actually pretty good, and especially considering that I was cursed with a channel that got a huge initial boost from the outside. Considering my first video got shared around, which is pretty detrimental to the growth of a channel, actually, because I have to work against everything that was established in that one video, right? About what the channel is supposed to be, who I am as a persona on the channel, right, etc., etc. So for a long time there was no growth on the channel, right, because it was pretty much just the people who got in through the initial push, and the algorithm has pretty much just fucked me.
Well, you're being throttled, right? Just like my channel, they eventually have to flag you as like non-kosher content, and then they will throttle you. So, I mean, we have to take that into account when we look at the numbers. If you were like a non-throttled account, and YouTube wanted to promote this, we'd have like 10x, 50x the amount of subscribers. But I think the numbers can be a little bit deceptive. Because there's the quality as well. I mean, we have actual fans that are like real people who show up consistently and who are interested in the content and actually participate and so on. So
I put it like that. I'm bots. Yeah, I'm a lot more happy with the quality of the people who watch our stuff than I am with the numbers, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things about the modern right is the loyalty of the people. once you have fans, they're your fans. They show consequently that they're willing to show up, and they're willing to pay, and they're willing to watch and comment, and it's very good to see.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, the right wing sphere in I guess both Pan Europe and Scandinavia as well. I think it's going in the right direction. I remember when I first looked at this, and it was just the skinheads in the early noughts, and it was like, yeah, I'm not engaging with that. But I think there was a lot of people who also saw that in the early 2000s, and it was like, yeah, no, they have points, but I'm not gonna. No, not those guys. Because that's the worst tail end of that was during that part of time, the 2005 to 2010. It was the worst part of the dysgenic grogs who had nowhere else to go. They ended up in that movement. Yeah. It's like, they have some points, but no.
Yeah, I feel like participating in that is like dressing up as a reindeer during hunting seasons. Really, it's like you're just like a walking target essentially for the entire society, where it's just like free hunting season on your head.
It's really stupid. I mean. I see our good friend, our good Danish merchant is in the chat.
Oh yeah, Jay Green River is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a link in the Matrix, Jay Green River, if you want to hop on. I don't know if we're going to be streaming for much longer. I think I'm starting to get spent, and I didn't eat dinner today, so I need to figure something out. Or maybe I'm just gonna, be a man and go to bed.
I saw at one of Frodi's Scanso forums. He had a talk about. He called it the ghettoification of the self ghettoification of our thing, and I've been carrying about just the entire skinhead and being fucking retards driving people away, and that's
right.
That's not a and how's that that is important.
But the way it sort of splits, it's the divide and conquer strategy,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah, no enemies to the right and so forth. That is we need to teach people that one.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean it's a kind of a tricky situation, but also it's kind of different from the because I mean we are tackling a kind of different set of problems here than that the Anglosphere does, and a lot of the community that we are interacting with is the Anglosphere. I've been into this kind of thing, and I've been kind of coming to this kind of conclusion is that the biggest fucking lie ever told about Scandinavia is that we are liberals. Everyone, the mainstream people always say, "Oh, we're liberals, very much liberal." But everyone else, if you step outside the duck pond, you realize that these people and no one else. If you go to Italy and ask people there, what do you think about Scandinavians? They're kind of conservative. No one else sees people within Scandinavia as as liberals. I mean, the culture is mainstream from an Anglosphere perspective. Small c, conservative.
I've been
Yeah.
talking about this for years. The Norwegian Workers' Party, the Arbeiderpartiet, the
Labour Party, yes.
dominant Labour Party of Norway is on the cultural questions, the drug question. They are more conservative than the conservative parties.
Yeah, it's the same
They
here.
are completely against legalization, and the right party is Høyre, and the Progress Party, the FRP, is completely like they are on the we need to legalize and regulate, and just
it's a bit of a weird. It doesn't map
Yeah.
quite one-to-one from the Anglosphere.
No.
So
It is fascinating. How are you on the Central Scandinavian listeners? Are there any?
do you mean here on this
Yeah.
channel?
Yeah. Because
well, I mean,
it
compared
seems
to
like-
United States, it's it's a small fraction, but it's obviously it's a smaller country. But as I always say, I still get people telling me or coming into our Matrix channel saying that, wow, I didn't know there was a Scandinavian or a Norwegian community for this stuff. I feel like I'm all alone, right?
Yeah.
In having
But,
these thoughts or these observations.
I've been lurking around these circles for like 8 years now, and it seems like the Scandinavian right is so much more connected with the Anglosphere than the general Central
This is exactly what I was
European
thinking.
thing.
I
It's
thought the
I
French
talked
have the-
to French nationalists who have been nationalists for 10 years, and they've never heard about Jonathan Bowden. And it's like a total disconnect, and it's so interesting.
Also, French have their own dissident sphere. They
Yeah.
have their own thing going.
Yeah, but they are the French.
Yeah,
They're
Nouvelle Droit.
peninsular.
Yeah, I was exactly going to say that we are basically by default connected to the Anglosphere in dissident circles because we mostly speak English, obviously.
That is why I try to only talk. My content and everything I do is mostly Norwegian, because
that does not be
you
a
can't
bad
be a
thing.
Scandinavian. You can't be a Scandinavian nationalist for Scandinavian culture and then only do content in English. Sorry.
You need to use
I'll agree with you, and it's a debate we had when we started this, and we decided that, well, as long as it's online, first of all, if we bring on Swedes and Danes and Finns, they're not going to understand each other. We might understand them, but they're not going to understand each other. Second of all, as long as it's online, the only reason that we're doing this is networking and community building to be able to do things in real life eventually. And once we do things in real life, we'll speak, our languages. So it was pretty much just a judgment call.
I thought we were an Aryan supremacist channel.
Sorry.
Billions must die. That's why we're not doing any local languages. I don't believe in nationalism. I actually just believe in imperialism. So
that's
the
true.
reason why I'm not doing Norwegian.
Yes, and to quote the second iron law, power must coordinate.
Yes.
But I mean, we are kind of coordinating in you guys, at least in the British Isles. You go to the events and you meet.
Well, I mean, we have to learn from someone, and if we can't learn from anyone locally, we have to. I mean, the only thing we were sort of talking about after going to the event, and I've been talking with someone like Jay Green River about this, is imagine how cool it would be if we could do one, right? So that's pretty much where it's at. It's just it's a thing that's not mature enough yet, and it's going to take time. So
yeah, I mean, I've been talking a lot with JG and the lore sphere, so to speak, about this, and we have concrete plans. The problem that we're running into now is financing and risk management, because the idea is that we have a concept ready to go, we have assets ready to go. The problem is that if we go, it will cost us X amount, and currently we are not safe that we can, make our expenditures back. We can't take even. And the goal get
100 visitors. Everything Frody has done has had over 100.
Well, yeah,
attendees
but
in
we're talking
Scandinavia.
about, in that case, we need to get someone like Frody as a headliner, right?
Yeah, we have.
And we're not saying that's impossible, but
No, we have had like very light overtures, but nothing concrete with both Frody and the Golden One and some other people. But the problem is that the first step is always the riskiest, and that means that we, as you know, kind of conservative people, we are kind of risk averse, and we have to, pull the initial funding out of our fucking ass. Once it's going, then it can start to, the one event can then carry over, because that's how money works. But the first one is always the hardest.
Yeah, so again, to go back to my point, it's, things are happening, and the goal, I suppose, is ultimately not to speak English all the time, but it's baby steps, and it has to be, unfortunately. Oh, Green River is willing to jump in because he wants to talk about this. I might have to kick someone out for this. Is there anyone who wants to leave? Oh, there goes. Wait, who left?
Nordhuger.
Nordhuger left. All right. Yeah.
I think the biggest problem, though, is basically what language do we speak?
Obviously Norwegian.
Ja.
Svenska for food.
Not for me.
It's just going to be one big fight. That's what the meetup is going to be.
No, I think it's gonna be
We have to choose one from each Scandinavian country.
and the Finns.
One champion.
Yeah.
We can fight about this with swords.
Thank you, Monopatalmos. £5 for the event. Sorry, €5.
This is actually where Icelandic solves a problem. It's nobody can accuse of Icelanders of being imperialists because it's the original language.
Yes.
Just a second, I have to close something down. I have echo all over the place.
I think, should not Iceland be just a Norwegian? Iceland is Norway.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, but the only imperial power in the Baltic is Sweden.
Oh, correction, the cream of Norway.
Yeah. No, fuck Sweden. We need a wall, and Sweden's gonna pay for it.
All right.
Power that you got your fucking independence on a grant with our grace.
Don't get Leo starting. No, don't start that. I'm gonna kick you both. Right?
After you
we will fight.
Your 100 years on trial. You lost the.
No, I'm not gonna have that fighting here. Jay Green River, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have been one of the organizers behind the Schildings event, the Witten event, and I also run something called basket weaving, or have been a part of it. Basket weaving is a meetup thing where people meet up across the world. There's about 3,500 that is participating in that.
And if you would like some info about how you can join that, I will probably have a video out sometime this week, or maybe I'll delay to after Christmas to let people, devour it over.
Awesome. So what we have done whenever we started something up is looking at the statistics for each area, right? So if we look at how many people are from the UK directly, then I can see that there is about 600 people that is from the UK who is doing these meetups. When I go to Scandinavia, let me just try and do that here. I think, the number is, it's about 65. So the problem is that we have 10 times as many people in the UK for these events than we do in Scandinavia. That's one key problem. We need at least 3 times as many people before we can do an event. So we need to go out, grab all the Scandinavians, get them into the sphere if they're not already a part of it, and get them into basket weaving also, because that's where we have the majority of people, at least for now. So it's
one question.
Yeah.
How do you make things like basket weaving quote unquote fat proof?
Well, you don't, right? The way to
Don't fed post at the event.
to deal with feds or informers is to outlast them, right? So if you have been sitting for 3 years talking about how to knit better or make cool software that promote your message better, then they get bored and disappear, right? So if you have known someone who have actively contributed to the cause for 3 years, you can be damn sure there is no one from MI5 or FBI or something like that that has that is a Fed. That's how you make yourself Fed-proof. Now, I would say if you're planning to do something illegal in 3 years, then you can't actually. There's no way to secure against an informer because they get paid for whatever you're doing. Like let's say you're smuggling people or something. They get someone in your organization can get paid up to like 250,000 per year for informing on you. So if you are planning to do something like that, you have to be giving each member of this organization more money than that. That's the only way you can keep.
I need to say, in peaceful events, it's not the actual feds that are the problem, but the journalists infiltrators.
Okay.
My point is basically feds just the way they operate, at least in the US, they always, first of all, they pay criminals as informants to get like less bail, and then they make them infiltrate all kinds of groups. Not even like groups like just like militia. And they make them like act on certain. They make them encourage illegal activities. That's it.
Yes. So if you want to deal with that, you make all talk about that illegal, right? So they can't do it for 3 years. Who the fuck is gonna spend 3 years waiting for them to be accepted into somewhere else, right? That
there's always like this one lunatic in every group, you can always blame the whole.
Right, that you need to gatekeep your thing, so you have the good people, and the lunatic is not a good people.
JJ, can I interject here?
Yeah, go ahead, Leo.
I realize what you're going for here, and this is general advice. This is why basket weaving is a good thing. Again, going into the grog meme, if you meet someone, I've been to a couple of things. You see who's the Fed, who's the journalist, because they stand out. Especially if you meet them again and again and again over, say, once a month. They won't come back because they realize on some level that you understand who they are, and you start realizing who they are, and this is why meeting IRL in a say non-charged way for starters, and this is why the JG's idea here that is making it that you essentially vet people. Everyone can come into the first room, but people must be vetted and have proven track record to get into the second room. That is how you how you keep your organization semi-safe.
I think I don't want to, delete all of this as we're talking about it, but I think this should be. I mean, we talked a bit about a Jay Green River earlier. This should be a stream on its own, talking about these things.
Oh yeah, but we can talk about gatekeeping.
But go on for a bit more. I have to go in like 15 minutes. So.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I don't think there's more to it. Leo is putting it out right. You gotta do it here. The first entry point. There's no vetting. You give them some time. You see what they're able to contribute, right? People who are not contributing to the course should not advance into next level, right? They're totally useless. If you're not contributing in some way, well, you may be a fed, right? Because, like, obviously they want to sit around and just wait until the right conversation is there so they can interject with something that is illegal, right? So, and the next step is even more time, and the last step is this guy must be earning more than like 250,000 a year, so you can pay him more for not informing than the state can pay him for informing. Right, so that is the sphere that has to somehow pay him 250,000 in order to not talk about the bad things. And if you're not able to go there, you shouldn't be doing anything illegal. That's just
like why would you do illegal stuff just for the sake of it, right?
Yeah, okay, but I mean,
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't have the resources to avoid it, right? Why would you, or to defend yourself, if you end up doing illegal stuff? We're talking like mafia logic here. You just don't just go out into the street and start robbing people. You build up the capital to be able to protect the guys you send out to rob people, right?
Yes, exactly.
Can I?
Exactly. Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, since we're talking about this thing, people in chat, when you're engaging with anything, both the state, both our sphere, anything, just assume everyone's a mafia. The cops are a mafia. The IRS is a mafia. The State Department of your local nation is a mafia. And we are a mafia that you might want to join. The state might be a mafia you want to join. This is how organizations work. Period.
Very much so.
I think on that note, actually, we should probably round off the stream here.
Applaud
thank you,
Leo's
for coming on
point.
for like a moment. Sorry, what?
I applaud Leo's point.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Teknosjaman, for coming on.
Oh,
and
thank you
fielding
for
our questions.
having me.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone else who joined us during the stream. We here at the Longhouse, the NPR for the Sensible Centrist, hope that you have a wonderful Christmas time, a good Yuletide, and a happy New Year. And we'll see you back. We'll see you back here in January sometime. Until then, have a good rest of your year. Actually, I usually say good rest of your week, but now it's good rest of your year, and we'll see you then. Bye bye.
God jul.